Hey, welcome back to Métropole Grid. My name is Andre. Thanks so much for tuning in. It is a Thursday night. It is July 25th, 2024. I'm pretty sure. How's everyone doing? Hope the night is good. It is now. Hey, Eric, how's it going? Looks like all those poker chips have arrived, and they're going to be distributed to those who ordered the Neon Static poker chips. I got mine myself. I'm actually quite excited. I've become enamored with the idea of poker chips and stacking them, and they just look good. And for recording stuff, I think they're really quite nice. I think they makes the streaming process, the video process, really easy. Hey, Andre, good luck on JNet tonight. The good news is the chat is no longer the default page. Boy, do I know, Lucille. I was so stoked. Welcome to the new front page of Jinteki.net. You come in and it tells you some useful information so new players don't log on and see an empty chat box in the top right corner where they have to log in and be like, what's going on? And then they log in and then they see hateful people. Just the pile of the worst Netrunner people just spewing garbage at each other. It's hidden. You now actually have to opt into the gross land. Which is behind this. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. 10 out of 10. However, I went to record some gameplay today. Around 1:45, and J-Dang, bless J-Dang, was online in a lobby saying, do not make a new room, server reset at 2 o'clock. I'm like, okay, I'll hang. I can hang out. 2:30, still off, I think. Came back at 3. New JNet, shiny, slick, and the server is still real bad. It's still real bad out there. I recorded a Pudma game. It was 7 turns. Took about 30 minutes. I don't know what to do. Don't know what to do tonight. We're going to find out if it's not good out there. But we'll find out. JNet's just not been great. And it's been really, obviously frustrating. For like preparing for events coming up. Mind you, there's a bunch of events this weekend. It is the Northeast or the East North American Nationals in Boston and Northern Massachusetts. This is basically Rhode Island. And then there's 2 online tournaments as well. There's Man in the Moon Summer tournament series, and then also there's an APAC AMT. So there's a lot of stuff going on, but like JNet, genuinely difficult to get a game to feel good. I've had to like deconnect and reconnect. Is everyone having the same issues? Unironically, Marvel Champion stream. Yo, let's see. Have you been playing Jubilee? I just got Jubilee the other day. I was gonna jam a game or 2 tonight and try and prep. Yeah, Eric, let me know how it goes. There was like 19 people playing this afternoon, and it was not very good. I had some issues. Today, we'll figure out what we want to do. We might just want to go ahead and do some replay reviews, something like that. I have no replays on hand, but like if someone wants to send a replay, we can go through them. Especially if you're preparing for an event, that might actually help. I've not played any of the recent MC stuff. The recent Marvel Champion stuff is like quite good. I don't know if it's new designers, but like the designers have really hit a stride. I think I'm noticing some patterns though, where I think some of the stuff is like really well designed, but I feel like there's a bit of homogeneity between kits where it's like every kit has a 2-cost thwart event that thwarts 3 and does something else. And I'm starting to feel that because it feels like the last 4 or 5 packs have followed that same system for better for worse. So it looks like they have like an economy of what the cards should do. I wish they just broke that slightly more. Jubilee was kind of boring until I played Jubilee, and it's like, it's actually kind of cool. Hey, Bumble. Can you believe I got a group of 5 to come out and play Netrunner in fake London? A group might be forming. Oh, no way. Where they coming from? Were they like, I'm not sure if our Stratford is from London, but there has to be like players in London considering it's somewhat a university town, right? Let alone there's like game design stuff. Anytime you can find a university or like find out where they're making video games, you'll find Netrunner players. Anecdotal, but I found the lag to be a lot better when game count is below 10. If you can find a time with those numbers. Well, right now it's 11, so we almost are there, it seems. We'll give it a shot for sure. Like, we're not going to not try. I just have pretty low expectations, unfortunately. Oof. Hey, Stab. Building for Digimon? I don't actually know how Digimon works as the card game. Hopefully it's going well. I've never played Digimon. I've never seen Digimon. I know the little orange dinosaur is a Digimon, but that's all I know. And then one of the characters wears goggles. But hopefully you're having a good time. Lazy, shout out to the Grid. Great place to hang out on Thursday night. Welcome. Hopefully doing well. Played the longest night scenario last night in our Hemlock campaign. Yo, how'd it go? It is such a cool scenario. It is incredibly memorable. I think it's quite difficult. Got 9 Doom and had to bail. Oh, he left. Why? Were people dying? Great scenario. It is like such a cool standout scenario. And I really like the difficulty on this scenario because it is incredibly hard, but it also gives you a lot of tools within the scenario to deal with the things that come up. It's a really cool design. I think it's one of the most interesting Arkham designs as of recent. And it's probably on one of my list of highest, it's definitely ranking somewhere in what I think is the most interesting and fun scenarios. It's really tough. Yeah, Supernaut, it is incredibly tough. We had to tank the monsters for 2 turns to save the day. It is, again, it's tough, but then it gives you so many ways with all the mechanics in the game. And you have to basically touch all the mechanics in that scenario to have a shot, which is really fun. Could you please perform the Digimon theme song for my childhood? Poggles, I don't know what it is. I've never seen any. Digimon, Go Go Digi Monsters. Digital Monsters. Actually, that might be it. That might be correct. Bandai is awful at distribution. My LGS had been on the same crap promo pack for like 6 months, and the game is getting ridiculously expensive because of it. I'm sorry to hear. All right. A lot of people are out there grinding games, I imagine. It is some competitive Netrunner. Mind you, we came back from the Nationals this weekend, the last Canadian Nationals this year, which wrapped up in Toronto. I spent all of Tuesday talking about it. There's a bit of a story time. It's like an hour in the stream on Tuesday. We played this deck already, and I honestly don't know if we should play it again. We've played like 4 or 5 games in a row with it, so maybe we should do something else. I really like this deck. I played it at the tournament. I thought it was absolutely grand. But I think we're actually going to go and play something else because we did get this one. We played a whole bunch of this for a while. PD your fave? Evilon, it's not only like PD, it's like the coolest PD. It's like tempo combo PD. Best story time ever. Hey, Brennan. Yeah, it was really interesting. It's like a bit of a heartbreaking story, I think, but I'm glad we could communicate it. Speaking of a bit of a story time too, this is a former team. This is Josh. Josh is one of the main organizers of Toronto Nationals, and he posted his deck list, which is least defeated player at East Canadian Nationals. Not sure if we came up with that statistic, but I'm feeling it. It's a Hoshiko deck. It's good stuff and has a trick shot in it because he wanted to play the art. Now, why I want to show you is that there's a bunch of GIFs and images, and I did a bad job at story time presenting GIFs and images. As Mari Till gets banned, I think Re-Education is going to get banned. I don't think it's Mari's going to get banned before it rotates. How's it going, Kyle? But there's some good images here to show you a bit about like what Toronto Nats looked like. So we're just going to run through this really quick. The write-up's really good too if you read it. I think it's well written. This is a foil trick shot. All the cards that were specific for this event also appeared in foil. If you made top 8. As someone who's been casting, I've never not got the cool prize support, so it's fine. This foil trick shot looks sick. Mind you, these are both Scottomingas. They also have different flavor text, which I don't think I appreciated. This is one for the compilation. This is the foil mitosis. The foil mitosis, or just the mitosis in general, the flavor text is, if you're going to run them now, which is really, really good. I think Toronto flavor text. And then this is the Mimic, which Nikki did the not only the back of the card, but the front of the card was an oil painting that was available at the event. Mimic is such an interesting choice because this card is not going to be around forever, but like the piece makes a lot of sense with what Mimic is with the kind of frightening mask. Really, really cool. Look at that foil. Go EP, how's it going? Welcome to stream. Trick shot's so strong. It is so strong. I don't think it's this good though. Like, as much as I think trick shot's super busted, I'm covering it. I do think your deck needs to build around it slightly, and this is probably not the best home for it, but it is a card that I'm frustrated with because I do feel like, I don't know, Energy's gone on record to be like, we're really happy how it turned out, because it's like, so it's a sledgehammer. It's not, I don't think it's a very like precious card. It just does everything. I really like the original flavor text on trick shot, but one for the compilation is not bad at all. I love the altered scene around Netrunner. There's so much good stuff. And mind you, that is mostly because NSG says you can largely do whatever you want. You do have to be careful, and I wish tournament organizers were a bit more clear. I do not know if this Mimic is competitive tournament legal or not. It might not be, because I don't think it says it's an Anarch card, but just be careful when you're making your alt arts if you want them to be casual or competitive tournament. There is like a guideline of things that you have to hit. Maybe the coloring is meant to make it Anarch, but there's a chance that this is not competitive tournament legal, but very pretty. This is a pan over of the event space. That's me. But it was in a church basement. One thing that I forgot to mention too is that there's this timer you see ticking down on this projector, and it's 65 minutes because we're playing double-sided Swiss. And this in the background that was animating through loops of anime, but like anime clips that were Josh explained it to me, and I don't entirely know what the shows or the films they're from, but they were like cyberpunk anime. And as the timer went on, the loops got a bit more ridiculous and a bit more tense. But it showed off a lot of like that sort of 90s cyberpunk aesthetic with UIs and stuff like that. I really appreciated it looking up, and you saw stuff exploding, which is really, really great. Video games in the background, yeah, this was eventually got played. Become a Street Fighter projector on day 2, which is great. These are the cookies that Nikki made. Talked about this, that they had Netrunner logos on them. So like Snare got ingested, all the Netrunner N. That's not the NSG N, it's the Netrunner N. I don't think I realized that. And then all the other logos are fantastic. They were also giving out these, and I wish these existed more. I got mine at Toronto Worlds, and I don't know who's responsible for them. But there's these cards here that have basically the timing structure and the timing structure. There's 3 cards, and they have all of the timing structure of a run of a turn. And I always have these on me whenever I'm judging, let alone whenever I'm playing, just in my deck box always. I probably should have picked up a second pair of these. They offered me, and I'm like, I have these. I don't need another copy, but I probably should have got a second copy. I wish stuff like this existed even in like NSG product to some extent. They're super, super, super valuable. These is an outfit and a smoke. These are actually printed alt arts. This is not just drawn by hand. From my understanding, Josh has been playing outfit and smoke, penning his own alt arts just on paper for such a long time that they actually got baked into real alt art. So these are double-sided identities. Funny enough that smoke is rotated. It's also technically not a stealth subtype credit, which is a bummer. But the outfit's really, really fun. They come in the latest NG sets I've ordered. Really? I haven't seen that. That's sick. The mimic isn't legal, but also, what are you, a cop? You have to tell me if you're a cop. But does this feel that one meme image of the INTJ guy? Super not. I probably know what that is, but not by then. What's the most trick shots you've seen in a game? I think mine is 5. I think I've been hit by 5, and that is frustrating. That's like DJ Steve Shaper, and it's just like, please let it stop. Video games. So this is Street Fighter, the latest Street Fighter. I'm not sure what number it is. There's some stickers. Apparently there was a sticker with the that famous, I really hate that this became a meme thing, but the famous Dao Salonga review from NetRunnerDB. And this is upstairs where it's a proper church, so walking away from the church. This is lunchtime. That's me, but we're all having some spaghetti, which is quite nice. This is attached to a window. I think you can see it in the GIF here, but attached to the room over here is a window that goes into a kitchen. And so Iris and Zach were there doing some cooking, and the food was just there. There was like a lot of different kinds of food and coffee and stuff, and you could order food. This is day 2, top tables, so things are filmed. I've seen the footage. The footage is actually not that bad. Like, this is a wild thing, is I generally, and I'm actually worried because we have our NPC Montreal coming up in a bit, and the camera I'm using right now to live stream, if you saw the Montreal Nationals footage from last year, it's not that good. I had to zoom in a bit. It's a bit loud, it's a bit grainy, but it's not fantastic. This camera is like aged and only works in situations in which the lighting is really good. And even in this situation, right? Like, the thing is, my camera is so small, you can't tell how noisy this is. And I think also because it is a live stream, it's compressed a bit, that you don't see how noisy this image is. But I think the footage that I have, compared to like NPC Boston streaming from the folks at Neon Static, like, it's a fair bit worse. But all that being said, this is just a camera. Sorry, this is just a cell phone attached to a camera. And later on in the tournament, they realized they didn't need this boom arm, which is a bit harder to position because you can barely see the frame. They just kind of attached it to the front of the tripod and then used that, and it was good. It was genuinely pretty good. And so the footage, I'm going to try and edit together some parts of the finals. You might even see this game here. But yeah, all I'm saying is, if you're looking at camera stuff and saying like, oh, I want to film Netrunner content, but I don't know how to get into it. If you own a modern cell phone, you have a better camera than I do. Like, that's as much as it is. Modern cell phones are so much better than the camera. I've been using the same camera on the Metropole Grid for when we started in 2015 largely. So like, the camera is probably worse than your phone at this point in time. I used to have a better camera from work. When I used to work at Ubisoft, I was using their camera, but it's fine. It's not hard. You don't need to be Metropole Grid / Neon Static. It's fine. Yeah, I know. Cell phones do so much work. They're generally like, it's funny enough, my cell phone's probably worse than my camera because it's not a great cell phone. It's pretty old, but cell phones honestly are like a really great way to get into filming stuff. Yeah, modern cell phone cameras are just great. You need to calm down. People need to record their events. Yeah, I know. Hey, Baza, how's it going? Baza's in these shots somewhere, and the Baza family's in these shots somewhere. You might see a Baza sneaking in those images. Meanwhile, I have my highly cryptic one-sided card with all the timing structure on it and the hieroglyphs for judging. Oh, man. I set up tripods and mounts to start filming some in-person play using my phone camera, and as long as I get enough light in the room, it's great. Yeah, it's really, really good. You work for Ubisoft? Yeah, I worked for Ubisoft for almost 5 years, doing video and live stream stuff. I worked for the community team in Montreal. I was there for, yeah, almost 5 years. Had a great time. Honestly, had quite a great time. Team there was great. Hey, Jai. This t-shirt, we wore it on Tuesday. It's in the wash. It's great. You got a snare on the back. And then this is the group shot. It's so cute. This is everyone. There's a lot of folks there. It was quite nice. Again, all these folks coming in. I think everyone here largely is Canadian. We didn't have any Americans come in, but just a really lovely set of people standing under the crucifix. But yeah, quite cool. The one thing I also wanted to say, because Kyle dropped this in chat on Tuesday and I totally didn't understand it, but you can only see the beginning of this. For some reason, there's probably some sort of after school or some sort of, I don't know, there's kids doing organized something in this room. And all along the walls of the room were drawn images of creatures. I do not know what the spec was. I do not know what the kids were told to draw, but all along the wall, like you see right here behind Cody, there's like a piece of paper taped to a wall. There were just like monstrous creatures all along the space. You see there's one here in the background. There was one here. They were all over. They were just kind of all over the room. And like you're walking, some of it's like church history. And then every once in a while, it's GWUMBUS. GWUMBUS was on the wall, and I cannot understate how frightening GWUMBUS is, and GWUMBUS was, as GWUMBUS watched over us all as we played Netrunner. I do not know what, I cannot tell you what the kids were told to draw GWUMBUS. It says here, and the quality's not great, it says genetically worsened, unidentified guy, semicolon, my bad, unindependent on smubble. No idea what any of this means, but GWUMBUS was frightening, and there was like 2 or 3 of these along the whole side of that I was usually playing the tables, but GWUMBUS watched over this all. Long live GWUMBUS. GWUMBUS is incredible. Someone needs to put this on Jiteki alt art. Like, this is some kid's art, and like I'm not making fun of it. I think this is incredibly evocative, incredibly great, but if somebody finds out that their art that they put on in some church basement ends up on a Netrunner card, hail GWUMBUS. GWUMBUS is so good. Those were weird. Yeah, they were pretty weird. GWUMBUS should get a whole new card. Genetically worsened is such a good sentence. Unidentified guy, my bad. Unindependent on smubble. This is why Arkham's age is 13 plus. Hey, Rohit. It'll be a Cloud Eater art. I'm more scared of GWUMBUS than Cloud Eater. That big snake. Nux Breaker. Oh, right. Anyways, that's GWUMBUS. It came up in chat, and I totally forgot what GWUMBUS was for some reason. But yeah, thanks for sharing the photo. Kyle, I think, quickly took a photo of GWUMBUS. Another one behind the game table was like called 3 Slices of Toast or something, and it was like a snake with coconuts attached to it. It was very also frightening. Good old GWUMBUS. He's gonna make the first sacrifice to GWUMBUS unidentified. Is some kind of mechanic like scoring an agenda that makes all ice weaker, then somehow improves GWUMBUS? Pineapple? God just wrote pineapple. Okay. My opponent versus GWUMBUS, I'm conceding right there. You're biblically accurate. Like, I don't know. Are those meant to be like revelation type creatures? Super. We are all God's creatures. Breathes using only... Oh, yeah, that was a really good sentence. I think 2 Pieces of Toast had the text, breathes using other fish. Which is legitimately the coolest sentence I think I've read in a bit. It is either 2 or 3 Slices of Toast was the name, and it said, yeah, breathes using other fish, which is like probably my favorite flavor text for Cuban, because it's like on 99% 2 Pieces of Toast, and it's actually attached to, I think, toast. So it steals their gills. Yeah, it like locks onto another fish and then uses that fish as a breathing apparatus, which is just hella cool. Like genuinely cool science fiction from the sentence, breathes using other fish. Oh, it's so good. Genetically worsened, definitely a Corp ID name. Hey, Jessica, how's it going? Oh, man. Genetically worsened is in theme for hybrid release. It's really good. There's like some good art down there. There's also like a bunch of historical stuff about the church, which I didn't read, but I definitely read GWUMBUS, which breathes using other fish. So good. All right, what we're gonna do today, we're gonna see how bad JNet is. I think JNet wasn't good this afternoon. It might be a bit better. There's a couple pieces of news. We'll be hanging out. I wanted to be that guy and play something mean. I'm pretty sure some folks from Toronto, I know Erin, she published her PE list. I want to play it. JNet's pretty good right now. I tried it this afternoon. It wasn't good. Wait, does Shoot take her deck down? Hybrid was one of the proposed GWUMBUS candidates. Okay, here it is. New Corp deck. One like. New Corp deck. This was published. So there was 2 players in the top cut playing trap decks. Notably not on Snare, which is something we found out because Aaron, she didn't stand up to go get a Snare alt art or foil art. But there was 2 decks. I do think the other one was Mikhail, and Mikhail was playing some amount also of like Check a Scion and 1 copy of End of the Line, which I think ended some games. And then I think at that point you're playing Persephone. Not Persephone. What's the other one called? The other spider? Kill Me, Do Not Like. Yeah, I didn't get to play against any PE, and like I think it's probably pretty good. I think the other one that Mikai was playing I might be more interested in. That one was a fair bit more mitosis, like, you know, old school Cambridge. This is more so like, I'm gonna hurt you a lot. Shell Game was topping. Yeah, Shell Game did really well. I don't think Mikai posted his deck, but this sort of deck is a bit more like brute force. You have a lot of assets. It's hard to trash things like Angelique on top of a Sting. It's just going to be a lot of damage no matter how you slice it. I think Angelique in PE is like really good. It is a neural EMP, let alone does 2 damage on the table. The Reaper functions are quite scary. The Regolith, just because we need some amount of money. Mind you, we're on no operations. Bladderwords probably shouldn't be firing. I was surprised how good Cohort is. We have Regenesis as well, so Cohort Regenesis is just like quite mean in theory. We don't have Moonpool for any sort of fast event stuff, but it's a sort of like horizontal acid hell while also doing a lot of damage on the way. I didn't see correctly that Cannets was DSS. What happened there? Jeff, oh my sweet summer child. Cannets was DSS. Josh I think just likes DSS. He was open to some amount of criticism about it, but he had a good sense of humor. I was not happy about DSS. I talked about this on Tuesday. Strength of schedule. We had at the end of the day there was 10 people tied in first place and only 8 made it, which like that's kind of a DSS problem, honestly. So I don't know. I'm not running a DSS event, but I was really happy to be at Cannets. It was great. But yeah, it was DSS. I don't know why. It's fine. Regenesis and back programming make decks on their own. Yeah, and this one's just like Regenesis for Fuji. It's just like I've played so many JNet casual games where on turn 1, someone like Hansei reviews and just puts Regenesis on the table and scores 4 points, like turn 1 or turn 2. And I just don't respect it. Now I'm like kind of on edge where any deck that like plays a Hansei, I'm like, oh, they're gonna Regenesis me, get them. So yeah. Glad to hear the vent was good. Sorry about the ESOS. Yeah, it came down to ESOS. It was like really rough, but the vent was great. I was heartbroken, but it's fine. I'm always hesitant to play JNet and the lag doesn't help. We'll see how bad it is. Took so long for people to get behind SSS when it's so obviously better. It's a really telling thing, Lucille. You're right. It's like even when I heard about SSS, I was like, not for me. But I do also want to remind folks that the ubiquity of IDing and 2-for-1ing is a pretty modern contrivance when it comes to the overall history of double-sided Swiss. Like we've had double-sided Swiss since largely day 1 of Netrunner OP in 2012 when FFG did it. Not that the OP did change. OP used to have some really goofy rules where like your score was on how many points you've scored. And there was like some tournaments where you just need to score 1 point and then you won because you already had so many more other points. Like there's some ridiculous games that were just like score hostile takeover games over handshake because the corp just need to score 1 point because I don't understand how their structure worked. But the point is that IDing and 2-for-1ing were not well-known ideas, let alone were not codified legally by the rules until NSG times, if I'm not mistaken. So SSS didn't, or DSS didn't seem as cursed as it is today, for better or for worse. So I agree though. When SSS came out, maybe this is like closed versus open deck list. It's like whatever your opinion is, you got to try it first, and then I'm gonna open that wound up, I guess. Let's give this a shot. 3x Diviner. Could DSS work if they said no 2-for-1s for IDing? No, Nato, you can't. Because, oh, you're right. FFG did have IDs and 2-for-1s in 2018 Magnum Opus Worlds. You're 100% right. I totally remember that. You can't because the reason why they're legitimized is so that honest players have access to them. If you don't legitimize it and say there's no IDing and 2-for-1ing, players on teams and friends are still going to do it under the table. So it's better that everyone has access to it, not just like people who show up with a team of 20 players who say like, we'll ID and 2-for-1 if we need to. I don't know. That response comes up a fair bit. Be like, why don't you just make it illegal? And it's like, you can't stop people from doing it. So you might as well make it legitimate. And then on top of that, it's not only like you need to like make it legitimate for teams and players. If you don't make it legitimate and say that you sit down next for me and we say 2 for 1 and I say, yeah. And then I lose the first game and they say like, I win 2 points and 2 games. And I say, no, I never said that. Like what happens? Right? Like it gets really ugly really quick unless the judges are on board with 2 for 1. Because I could promise you 2 for 1 and then lose the game and be like, nah, let's play the second game. And he'd be like, you said, and I'd be like, go tell the judge that you're doing an illegal game. And then that's not good for anyone. So there's just a lot of reasons it doesn't work like that. I think they might have been illegal in 2017 because of lifeboat memes. Yes, there was actually a scandal. Like for what it's worth, the first time IDing was talked about was, I don't want to like name names, not because firstly, because I don't know the names, but I'm pretty sure IDing first came into like the vogue when 2 players at an event, I think they were Australian players, were paired against each other last round and they just said, F it, let's go get a snack. And then they walked away and people were like, what the hell are they doing? And then they were like, oh, we're just going to say we won a game each because we have no reason to play each other. And everyone's like, well, you can do that? And they're like, yeah, we just played. They won 1 game, I won 1 game. Lol. And then everyone was quite upset at them, which is weird because now that's just how the game works. But rightfully so. More DSS writing? No, Solomir, I'm done. My argument could be made for open lists, in my opinion. Same argument? Yeah, it could be. I agree. Same argument. Like, if I don't like it, we could still try it. New corp deck. What's this called? I'm just gonna import it because it'll have the goofy name if I do it this way. Deck lists are only open to anyone scouting or with teammate scouting. Closed deck lists as silly as DSS people should have come around to fully yet. Yeah, no, I agree. There is an advantage to be on a team when you are playing closed deck lists. 100%. Do you have a video on tournament structure? No. I think I have a video on like going to a big tournament. I talk about like some basic stuff, but I've never gone over anything talking about IDing or 2 for 1ing. For what it's worth, I'm not a good cuts math guy. Like everybody has a friend who's good at cuts math. And they'll the person to tell you like you should ID or you shouldn't ID. And that's not me. But I think a video should exist, probably specifically before Worlds. I'll try and put out a video, firstly giving you tips about going to Worlds and just preparing for an event, but also importantly being like, this is what you're allowed to do. You're a cuts match person? Oh, that's good to know. Seal. Next time I'll call. Last minute deck swapping for East Coast Nats. Dan, what do you want? What can I do tonight that'll make you either the least confident about your choices or the most confident about what your choices? I'll do either. Jaina's flying. Yeah, well, honestly looks pretty good. Oh, that free card draw. That's not good. So we look at this hand and we think, there's a prana condenser. Do you want to trade my win condition for 3 credits? I know what you're all thinking. That's not how it works. It does if you don't ice it. Thanks, you too. Tell me what runner to play. Eric, you told me your 2 options. I think the former option is better for you. I think the second option of runner decks is way harder to play and matchup dependent. And the first one is much, much easier to play. If you don't know what I mean, you can reaffirm that. But like, you probably agree with me. I think one of them is probably abstractly more fun, but way harder to play competitively. Thinking of switching to Managarm Egg to Moonshot PD? I'm not sure if Egg is in a great spot. If people do swap to Criminal, that's like kind of something. But Moonshot PD, you need to put games into. People will see you coming. I still think that's a hard deck to see coming. I'm going to mulligan this. But that being said, I do think the deck is really good. You need to put reps into it. Hey, Augie. I'm also a cut maths person, but sometimes I curse Ruben Peters to bubble, so ask at your own risk. Hey, I appreciate, like, that's how I talk to people. I'm like, I'm not a lawyer, but let me tell you, I think it makes sense. And they're like, thank you. As long as you're like very clear that, you know, I don't know what I'm talking about. We're just gonna put cards on the table and see what happens. Just play Zaya, Mr. Neon? Could be that simple. I think I'm arguing for the opposite. Okay, we're fine. Whiteblade has a good StimHack article on tournament structure. It's called something like Everything You Need to Know Before Going to Netrunner Tournament. Hey, Lucas. There's a lot of really good old StimHack stuff that I've read and then have forgot have been titled, and I probably should. Okay, in theory here you should ask, because if we had a spin doctor on the table, we could actually draw. Hey, real quick, before you end your turn, I could have a spin doc on the table. You might need to ask. Yeah, that's a very important timing window. There's a window where we can res a spin doctor so they don't get lat draw. It's fine here. Are we gonna score out anything? No. Are we gonna cohort? Yeah. All right, Reaper. We want the spin doctor on the table, I'm pretty sure. I think we're just gonna get Regolith money. I'm not actually sure what our game plan is. Like, I'm hoping that the runner makes a mistake and that's good for us. But otherwise, I don't know what their win con is. And currently Sting into Reaper's 4 damage. That seems pretty strong. If you want to learn to play World Tree Aria, which of your games do you recommend me study? Big city math lawyer. Just sketch a triangle. Okay, this is fine for us because there's a chance that this is lethal. They're probably going to take the cohort down, which is okay. Just sketch a triangle and then the maths happen automatically. I should do a video article on cut math at some point. It's really not that complicated. I'd appreciate a cut math thing. I saw you playing the devil's deck and had to open the stream and ask why. What do you mean, Daria? I'm just having a good time out here. Okay, I'm going to shuffle these back in. It's mostly because we have Blood in the Water in archives. Honestly, we could have not done that. This does 4 damage. Bomber. The best way to fix this is to go full speed ahead because I'm lazy and commit to clicking to draw. If they have. Big brain. Yeah. Yeah, you can still... I think after I pop it. Yeah, there's a window after I pop Spin Doctor, I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% why this is, but there's apparently some window after the Spin Doctor goes. In theory, they can't do things before, but you can do it after. Because I can res and pop in the same window. In theory, they could do it before I res, but once they pass priority to me. But what did they have? Did they have an SMC on the table? Oh, they did. I didn't see it. There shouldn't be a window since the run ends. Technically, there is reheat, and I don't know when the rules changed. But after Spin Doctor pops, apparently the runner is allowed to have a paid ability window before the run fizzles. I don't know why that is. I don't think border control works like that, but I've been told Spin Doctor works like that, and I need a reason why that is. You can res and pop it back to back, and then it ends the run. I thought so, but apparently the rules haven't been like that for a bit on JNet. It's the same window you pop spin, and the run is held open until both players pass. Okay, so apparently the run doesn't end until we both pass. That's the rule. I could not tell you why that is. So, all good. Thanks. So this is 2 damage. This is copies +1, so this is 4 damage. So they would end to 0 damage. If we actually kept the agenda in hand, we would have lethal here. Oh, but Onacom, never mind. All right. We also need money for this. Like, this costs 6 credits. So if it's a paid window, you got to finish the paid window. Not if it's a paid window. If you end the run with the boarding control, the window ends and the run ends. But apparently Spin Doctor, because it doesn't end the run, we can finish the window. Yeah, boarding control is different because it explicitly ends the run. Yeah, that's what Lucas is saying, and I agree with that. This is last click. This seems dangerous. We don't have a snare in the deck, which they don't know. Oh, this seems good. I mean, we win here. Oh, if we keep the Angelique in hand, that's another net damage. Oh, we're goofing it. We're goofing it, unless they call this right. But Angelique in hand would have been lethal, because now we're on threat 3 suddenly. Unseen card, they have to. Trash a Regolith, okay. So now they can swing the wrong thing, okay. So we win now. If we res the Tattoo Bola, they can't simul-chip anything. Oh no, they trash a Fermenter, so they could simul-chip. So it's more important that we don't res this and the Rashida goes down, because if we res the Tattoo Bola and they break it, we don't have enough credit, so we lose the Rashida. I don't recommend seeing multi-axis on your last click. I was saying the destroy with spin, explicit, and the run closes the open timing structure, cuts straight to run ends phase. So the difference was, how's it going demo? That 4.6.8.e explicitly says if a server ceases to exist during a run against it, the run ends after any currently open paid ability window is closed. Thank you. I do not know when that changed. Good game. Pretty simple. If we had snare, we couldn't afford it. We had a regolith on the table, but just damage will do it. Multi-axis last click is really, really frightening. Like, you want to be careful not to do it. Generally, how you interact with PEs, you want to hit early and then draw up. Running Glade is you're asking for something bad to happen. RIP function. Hey, Chris. It was TIA-CR update, if I recall correctly. Okay, cool. Did my calculation, that was the only red flatlining I saw. There's a couple. Nah, yeah, there's a couple, but they're niche. So they died to double Reaper. They died a Reaper into Angelique from hand and like, what's it called? The Blood in the Water. It's not bulletproof. I think that's probably the worst case. But with 6 credits, it's not absurd that they die there. What are the odds I have Sting and Reaper on board and dodge my runs? Yeah. Now, Angelique does 1 damage. If we put Angelique in server 6, that actually might have been reasonable. It thinks you too. But actually, their chance of dying was slightly higher than they thought. And that's mostly because Blood in the Water is like potentially an issue. Like we could do Reaper function, install Blood in the Water, advance Blood in the Water, Angelique from hand. It's tricky. They do live Angelique Kazani? Yeah, like we need to do 4 damage. So they're not going to die just to Angelique, right? Like we need Angelique plus something else. So I was thinking like Angelique plus then we could do, technically the other order is better Blood in the Water. It's tricky. Analogy with boarding control would be if the boarding control ability actually said end the run after this paid ability window. Yeah, it doesn't. It just says end the run, which closes the run. Just like there's no paid ability window after someone uses an Issei Mark II. You can't be like, I'll respond to that. It's just over. Oh, crap. Forgot to name the lobby. What are we playing Lockman out? So we were just testing JNet lag. It doesn't seem too bad right now. We're trying, this is Erin's PE that she was playing at Toronto. Extremely cool text. You get 1 paid ability. And then it's over. Pudma. Okay, Pudma can be frightening because we actually have to ice up R&D sufficiently. Because Pudma can get down to Cataloger, and Cataloger does beat PE. Also, just having Infinite Nuka running R&D is pretty rough. So we're probably going to have to get the Nancy on there and just hope. Funny enough, this list isn't on Saisentan, which is the thing I'm most scared of. Tithe is like the financially reasonable way. Anemone is like the damage over time. Well, just the burst damage, like confirmed damage. Hey. This hand's fine though. We'll just put the ice on R&D and see if that keeps some fear in check. Yeah, Anakom's obviously not good. Pudma's probably an Anakom. So we don't care what happens to Sting. And here it's either cohort or regolith. I'd rather have the light regolith. We need to click it a couple times to get the Nancy up. Looks like grinder P. It's not exactly a grinder. I could see why you consider it to be a grinder. It's not like Mitosis P that wants to end the game relatively quickly. It's hoping that we make a mistake. And if they don't make a mistake, it does become a bit of a grind, I imagine. This is not grinder. You playing this weekend? This might be grinder. There's a Nuka, so this is a big threat, right? Like having an infinite diesel button if you run R&D once a turn. Can't get wait to get my shit pushed in. Oh, that's a good term. You been prepping or you just rolling up and hoping? It's a cool event. We'll go over this again, but if you're going to play at Nats in Norden, you have to buy your ticket online. Apparently you can't buy your ticket at the door. We'll go over this again during the news, but please buy your ticket online. Oh shit. The cool thing didn't happen. Damn. Oh, I was rooting for the cool thing. Okay, this is not great. I think we'll just res this and fire it. We spent our whole turn gaining 7. It was fine. Surely a snareless deck can't be grinder. This is cringe, right? Yeah, we don't have snare, which is like, feels bad. Shaper meta I sleep. Yeah, you and me both. 0 prep since NPC Boston. Okay. Yeah, I sleep too. I'm not a big fan of a Shaper meta. I think there's a lot of people that believe when Shaper's good, the game isn't. I'm not saying we're there, but like, I kind of like scoring out behind an ice and HB. It seems like a fun thing to do. Why is there Shoot Lady? Kira. Shoot Lady does damage. We love damage. That was the best hit. I mean, worst for us. Worst hit for them. A regular could be good bait for bringing them home. Yeah. Why can't we have a fair and honest Crim? I think Crim is actually probably not bad right now. Like, they didn't run this. I want to do Angelique House of Knives because it does a lot of damage. Emotionally. I don't know how to do. We have to ice this. This doesn't do anything unless we ice it. Let's see what this does. Like, this looks... If you did this to me, I would be like, I'm never going to run that server. Because I don't want Warrior Tracker to happen. For what it's worth, this is an okay Warrior Tracker board. But, like, I never run this. Because it's, like, sting into shit. Oh, that's not good. But why this? That's interesting. I thought we were going to be playing Orca. Okay, cool. They probably have other programs, too. This is where you like they break a Seissenstein for 6. We'll love it. I'm a matter of fact cooking crim that Ian doesn't believe in. I mean, 4 credits is more than enough for the snare we don't have. They have to break this for 6. That'll be all their money. That makes all the trashables in the deck pretty good. Are you playing knives? Runner state the simple trick. Put an upgrade in your server and it's basically unrunnable. This is untenable. The upgrade could be anything, and most of them are poisonous. Like, never run the ice. I don't care. Upgrade. No, not even once. Knife bad. Okay, that's fine. Sting. Hold the phone. We did take out a Peach of Sean. That's pretty spicy. And a Cataloger. Cataloger's a good hit. That's the problem with Nuka. But that was incredibly expensive. That was a 10 credit run, functionally. This is a click to make AI deck? Oh, it could be, yeah. That would be fine for us, though. But the thing that you attach onto something and then... make a tithe another... I don't think they're running this, because we didn't have to. It's just not like Get Bernard. I think this Anansi's going to hold. Now we'll just put this on the table. Sweeten the pot a bit. That's a really big thing that PE teaches you. If they don't run your agendas, they're not agendas anymore. They're just snares on the table you installed. I think Not Again is just saying knife bad, so nobody expects knife. Not Again, if you're really brave, you should put 1 knife in your deck and you should install it on turn 1 and see what happens. The first lesson of using a knife is not letting people know you're using a knife. Exactly, yeah. No, knife's bad, y'all. It's all about the remote server. Make sure you build a good remote server. I played knife for 3 whole months. Yeah, no one would expect 4 whole months. That's a really good idea. Just revolvers in here. Shit. I wanted that. Knife and kid? Yeah, you can do it, right? I feel like knife is actually all right now. You can pray you never face PD. Praying you're never facing PD is a pretty bad prayer. Earl with knife sleeves to an NPC, yet everyone got knifed. If you play knife sleeves, the least likely card I'd expect in your deck is knife. That's like playing snare sleeves. Can't wait for someone to get Jay Chinyo and want to randomly generate Nova and pair tournament decks. They get 2 of them. Spend the whole game drawing. I mean, I guess this is us admitting we don't have anything better to do on our turn, which is not a great feel. I haven't tested it much because JNet seems laggy, but Knife DAO seems legit. Motion seems good so far. They did a server reset this afternoon. It wasn't good back then. It seems fine now. I found Op to be more annoying to beat than PD with Knife. Yeah, I could believe that. I think if PD's icing at Centrals really, really well and using upgrades on Centrals when you're playing Crim, like, you're probably okay. Time for World Tree Knife. Props for taking Az. Thank you. I don't think it's the best pick, but it was definitely my pick. I think the Az deck I ended up with that I showed on Tuesday is like functionally just a good stuff Crim deck with a bit of spice in it. I don't think it's optimal. I think the hardware package is just not as impactful as just getting a click back with Sable. But I wouldn't change too much of it. I would just run a battle console. Like, there's a chance you can actually like run Az with no joke. You could maybe run Az and just play Hermes in it. It's probably not great, but you know what I mean. Fixed lost last time we played. Sorry, Jeff. Op is pretty a problem, but I fixed that matchup. Only be bored with Knife. I mean, I'm gonna make him sweat. This actually isn't a real big sweat threat because they have a whole turn. We're not grinder. But now the last sting, like that's gonna hurt. No more hostage. How do you find DJ? You draw. I don't think I've ever hostage DJ though. But DJ is actually really good in that deck. I've been appreciating DJ for like weird stuff. Like when I play Lobisomu Shaper, and mostly when I'm not playing Lobisomu Kid, which I'm not saying it's a good deck, but like DJ Quetzal's been kind of cool when you're on Lobisomu and you're on Pudma and you can't charge your thing consistently. But I was actually really impressed by like in As having a 2-cost Fractor that breaks 1 subroutine a turn regardless of strength is like legitimately really good for 2 cost. Oh, Hannah's really bad for us. DJ Quetzal and Kid is cracked. Yeah, it's probably not bad either. We have a new hostage, Chris. Chris, you gotta check out the new hostage that we have. It's something else. We're in a bad spot. I don't understand what to do with these. Hopefully our opponent trashes them because they seem scary. We also have a way to make money, but I actually rather hurt our opponent. Uh-oh. We're on threat 3. Oh. I'm gonna keep that in hand. Let's just keep our opponent busy. We could have put something on top of an Angelique. Actually, might have been correct. But there's no way to run that. I don't know if I said hey Bink. I think I did. Love to see it. The tone flag needed. Not sure who's happy about this. Now they ran out of card drop, but they have Hannah, and Hannah's so important. It's a free remote server check every turn because you're not getting end runded. And also gives you a panic click to draw up. Like Hannah's really good against this matchup. Like your 0th click should just be check remote server, and then the rest of your turns respond to what you found. And then only on turns where we can produce 2 problems a turn is it actually something. Now, if we drew into ice, we'd actually be in a good spot. We might have wanted to take the turn off here to draw a bit because their breaker suite is not great currently. But like this Hannah's really, really good. We saw Hannah. We saw Basilar. Should we hit the House of Knives and actually do the damage? I don't think we need this. But this drops down to 3 cards. The most damage we can do is 1. That's fine. Being in mind, for the time you need that one important connection in your terrible deck with too many connections, and even in then, it's worse than Hostage. Even in then, it's much worse than Hostage. I haven't heard back from OP regarding Worlds volunteering. Need a quick clarification. Should I just DM you or something else on OP team? Sounds like Seb wants it. Seb does not want it. Adam is too expensive. Who are you paying? I think you're paying Dr. Lovegood. I don't think it's Adam. I think Dr. Lovegood charges 4 credits suddenly. Okay. This is usually not great. You're paying both of them? They each get 2 credits? Yeah, it seems like a fair rate. This is not going well. That's why it's so expensive. Fire all? Lovely. Oh, we could have. Nah. Ooh, that makes sense. Poison Vial Noom. Probably should have saw that coming. I'm gonna do a damage and then ask access. In theory, should do it in the other order because if they say yes and then they touch a snare, they lose. In theory, here they should jack out because that was a really sus House of Knives. We did the timing wrong on purpose. See, if they said yes, maybe we should have asked so that they can. Yeah, we probably should have asked because then we could save the House of Knives token. Because as soon as they commit to access, then we can House of Knives them, then they have to access. Yeah, totally. Should have asked first for knivesing. That's on us. Aaron, I am. What do you recommend? I don't ever want to res these because they scare me. We've won 1 game so far. Is it worse than Hostage if you could theoretically make money from it? You show me that theoretical game. Oh, this is something. Hey, Product Things. Hey, David, how's it going? It's been a minute. Wait. Did we have something there? I just feel like I should have paid to break. That's correct. Yeah. Yeah. We can't res this, but it's fine. Actually, maybe we should install this because if they trash it for free, that's really bad for us. We need to at least trade it for 2 damage. We're not grinder. I've made a credit from an MOM and Azdex. I've tried to build an MOM deck, and I don't think I've made money. I've made it cost 1, though. Surprised you finished 1 game so far? The runner, like, last click trick shot R&D, which I don't think is good for life expectancy. The MTG style bluff the card in your sideboard. I got recommended some Magic footage, and I didn't recognize one of the players, not that I would, but I did recognize one of the Magic players I do know, who is Brian Kibler. And their opponent drew a card, and then immediately, Judge, this was meant to be my sideboard. Which, like, power to them. Oh, crap. You can res it if you res Prana and House of Knives? Yeah. I guess. This upgrade was meant to be bulletproof. Why are they checking our upgrades? Is it like bad? No, it seems okay. It was not great this afternoon after the reset, but now it seems totally playable. Like, I wouldn't even call it laggy. I would say it's normal. It is the thing that y'all thought it was. It was adjusted matrix on top of Noom and then poison vial. So you spend a click and then poison. It's a bummer that we can't, like, make the Angelique stick harder. Their economy's drying up. I won my first EMEA game to deck area. Oh, no way. How did that happen, Tron? Like, self-reported, I guess? They accidentally had a corp card in the... Oh, right, in person. I was like, how do you do that on JNet? But accidentally having a corp card in the runner deck, yeah, that'll come up. Need to find another ice. Yeah, we need to ice the Prana. If we ice the Prana, we're cooking. Currently, they've just been touching cards and it's been working out for them. Like, they're not good at dealing with ice. Like, imagine we got a Tattoo Bola. Oof. I mean, I'll go down to 0, I guess. This is ugly. Adjusted Matrix Pog? For those who don't know, Adjusted Matrix needs you to interface. It doesn't say that on the card. Does NSG add? Did NSG add interface to it? Yeah, they did. NSG added interface. A lot of people miss that it says interface. That's exactly why it's an 8 strength Noom, because that breaks almost all the ice in the game. This is not the biggest breaker in the game, is it? Wait, what? Yeah, you need interface. Why is Noom installed? Because of Poison Vial and because of Adjusted Matrix. Bloody NSG eroding cards. Yeah. Yeah, you have to interface. It sucks. It's really bad. There used to be like a 10 strength breaker in standard for 2 influence. Stop trashing my cards. Orca is the strongest? Orca's only 3 strength. Orca's the most expensive, but you need strength, right? Like, what's the highest strength? In theory, we could have res Prana. It says Rashida's going to take 2 damage out of them. We're not grinder, I swear. Yeah, Endless Hunger, I think, was 11 strength, actually. Because Deus Ex was 10 strength. I think Endless was 11. Endless was 1 stronger than God. Lost the second cataloger into the depths. It's pretty good until the DJ comes down. I wish I had banner text. What does that mean? Oh, like the text on the card banner. Yeah, it would be pretty good. Now we can use this just to click for credits, I guess. Oh my god, we could Blood in the Water, and we can't even. Julie's actually gaining clicks. We're not grinders as a hostile deck. We're totally grinder. We're so grinder. It's absurd how grinder we are. This is fine. We resed in a Nancy. What else could we ask for? I was actually thinking about cutting the Nancy's after last weekend. Sai Santan is so good. I'm surprised we're not on Sai Santan. And for me, it's like Sai Santan gets broken for the same cost as a Nancy once the rig is up. Maybe if the rig doesn't get up. Ice the Prana? No, we got 2 of them. You're probably right, though. I will after that. Our opponent has seen both of them. Grinder sickles when dealing net damage. Hey, we have meat damage in here. Come on. We're not net damage grinder. We're meat damage grinder. Running diviner, yeah. Yeah, it's fine. One Saisentan gaming. Oh, this is not good for us. I'm not raising the Prana because we could win. Like, we could win maybe with Angelique Blood. What, are they going to break this? Scaring with the open deck list. It's all you need is one. Peachashawn. Oh, that makes sense because they're on a click-based engine. But they're going to let this fire. I wonder if I played Divine if it was 4 strength. If it was 4 strength, it'd be cracked. I mean... Oh, we don't have snare money, so that's why they're going for it. Okay, wish us luck. Beans, we lose in a turn. Hey, Alec, how's it going? Deep dive? No, I don't think so. If they're on 2 catalogers, I'd be surprised if they're on deep dive as well. But we have nothing going for us, unfortunately. Good thing I iced up the hostile architecture. You're right, if we iced up the Prana, we could have rezzed the Prana there and actually had a Prana win condition, but like our win condition is actually pretty soft now. I want to have a 4th credit. But we probably need to get the Prana cooking, yeah. It's 1 sub so we can easily get broken a lot of non-breaker stuff easily. Yeah, but imagine using non-breaker stuff on a 2 credit ice. Like, that's pretty good. That makes 2 of us? I don't know what we're agreeing to, Ian, but yep. The difference between 3 and 4 can be deceptively massive. Yeah, the difference between 3 and 4 is really, really big. Like, maybe this is talking about criminal, but imagine shibbolething through it for like 4 credits. Not that 3 credits is that different, but it's weird. Like this, the ecosystem of code gates and system gateway is very notably strange. Where like there is nothing Buzzsaw doesn't break. The only code gate in system gateway that's above 3 strength, so Buzzsaw without support, is Funhouse, and you can already pay 4 through Funhouse. Like you don't need your 4 to break it with Buzzsaw. But like I think that's one of my weird complaints about system gateway, which I have very few complaints about system gateway, is that there's like no reason to play any decoder in that package. I would like DNA tracker back. Oh, it's really important we don't have DNA tracker back. We need more wormhole ice? Yeah, maybe. Crap. They've challenged our spin doctor. Lag? Lag? No, I disconnected. What do you mean cannot res a second copy? Shut up. I'll try. Everyone in chat's like, Andre. No, it's fine. Not lag. Jane, it's perfect. They can trash that if they want. DNA tracker in front of a Prana? I don't think I've ever seen that. You had a res spin? Why won't the game let me do that? Why is the game like a nanny state? They're keeping me in check here. Hopefully they forget that this does damage. Because this is 2 meat damage. Lag, yep, for sure lag, yeah. Yep. Detective Glacier is already a good spot, even though I want Chiashi back. I definitely don't want Chiashi back. I'm like really scared of Sisyphus Protocol. I'm so confused how NSG is going to get out of the hole of the breaker situation. Like the ice math to some extent only makes sense with Turbine. Resoprana used the Hulk? But we're so close to winning. Like, you're saying to give up on my dreams, and our dreams are like really good. Like Angelique, House of Knives, Blood in the Water. Like we're gonna win. Crap, we're gonna lose. Trying to break DNA tracker with Blorch? Breaking anything with Blorch though. It was like you. I guess it was it the same cost as Fairchild 3? Was it 9 or was it 12? It must have been 12 because you didn't hit the 5, right? You did 3 to 5. Yeah, it was 12. Oh, that's terrible. So I guess they let 1 fire. So in theory here, They're not giving us snare money, but if we want to res the Prana Condenser, we have to do it on approach. Like, this is a very important rule that people miss. Like, we can't see what they're going to break and then respond by resing Prana. So we lose this 1 in 5 times. Why FC's 4 pumps? FC, because FC was 3 pumps, so it was 9. DNA was 6, so it was 4 pumps, right? This doesn't fire from hand, it's fine. I think you're right, though. We should maybe do the Prana. I just am not a Prana gamer, so I don't understand what board states look like if we're having Prana lock. This is probably one of them. I want more interesting drawbacks to Turbine-like effect. I agree, I do. I wish it was +1 strength, so that you had to consider putting more of them down and blocked your MU. I wish it was maybe more like Takobi where you could run. Should pitch go back to the grip? It wasn't during a run. So Hannah says gain a click, then run. You gain the click first. That's cool, though. Never thought about that. Takobi's better design. I'm worried, like, Takobi's probably very, very good, comparable, like it snowballs. But at least it requires a bit more effort. All right. We're about to win. We're gonna win the Netrunner game by making a play. You can see the play. Hopefully our opponent can't. It'll put us on game point. We're at 6 credits. I'm not gonna consider that. Maybe like +2 strength every successful run for the rest of the turn or something. Corp can interact by icing centrals. Or like the first ice per turn, right? There's a lot of ways to make it make sense. I'm not claiming any of those make sense, but I agree. Like, I like cards that have more interaction points. I don't like cards that are just like, here's a buff aura. Enjoy it. But yeah, it's hard to find a balance for sure. Game design's hard. Corp has to be more worried about resing cheap ice you can Takobi farm. That's true. Res the Prana? No, we're winning. Fuck, you're right, though. But why? We're not doing damage yet. Prana's unique. Hey, MP5, I'm getting started in the System Gateway and have to give you a huge amount of thanks. Of course, your content's been a pleasure to watch and been quite informative. Welcome to the game. Hopefully you're enjoying System Gateway. Is it Julie? Sorry about that. Welcome. I'm glad you've been enjoying it. We haven't been doing too much like new player friendly stuff. But hopefully there's enough stuff on the channel that it makes sense. Again, if you're ever watching and you have questions about what is he saying, why is he talking, why he's doing things, please, and this is not only for you, MP5, for everyone, just ask questions. Res the Prana to make them waste the cognitive load considering whether to address it or not. Yeah, no, not at all. My physical box of System Gateway just arrived for my birthday, ended a few hours ago. Happy birthday, Meether. Enjoy your System Gateway. Does it come in a physical box? My gateway didn't come in a box. You might have a better gateway than I do. And honestly, we dream for a world where our children have a boxed gateway. Back in my day, gateway came loose in an envelope. It was actually like 52 different envelopes, single cards, and we had to hold it together. Why is he ignoring my wailing? A little tech box with managram on it. Very, very cool. I got this feedback from my partner, NSG marketing team. I don't think it says Netrunner on it. I don't think it's obvious that it's a Netrunner product. I don't know. I saw it at like 401 Games on the shelf, and like looking from a distance, I don't think I can tell that the products are Netrunner. They send mine through a fax machine. You're lucky you got a fax machine. I mean, we'll get points, I guess. Do we res the Prana too? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do it now. I think that might be intentional. I hear you. Bladderwort won't work. Might as well. Please? Okay. I'll do server 7. Terminal Gateway made it very obvious what the product was. I thought we're not allowed to straight call a Netrunner just compatible with Netrunner. Yeah, but I don't think it says that. Hold on, I'll look at the photo. I remember seeing the product and being like, I don't think it's obvious what this is. And maybe it's like System Gateway isn't obvious that it is a new player product. I don't know. I remember seeing it and my partner was like, I don't think I understand what this is. My partner works in marketing. Chat told me to res it. I was cool playing the whole game without. Finally, I'm not gonna fire it though. I just wanted to res it to get closer to player. I'm kidding. I'll prevent it. I'll prevent it. Okay, we're winning. We can win with Blood in the Water. Blood in the Water is our win condition. I'll throw out the other Prana condenser because of course I am. Why do you hate Prana? Because it's not. It's a Keeling card. I don't like Keeling type cards. Remastered SG says compatible with Netrunner. Like, is it obvious? Hold on. I'm gonna dig up the picture that I know the feedback was associated to. Give me 1 second. I'm still playing the game. I looked at GWUMBUS on accident. That's okay. Okay. Okay, obviously terrible quality here. But walking by the shelf, I don't know. They all look the same, right? Maybe for better, for worse. Obviously, this quality is like, you got to do the squint. This one says compatible with Netrunner, I think, on the bottom. Maybe they all do. It's just like System Gateway is not obviously the first one you want to get. There's like, it's not. And obviously, because they're all in the same size boxes, that's a problem we have with other card games where like the core box is clearly different. GWUMBUS. Do we start cooking? Why are we talking about GWUMBUS? Terrence, GWUMBUS. I have terrible news. GWUMBUS followed me home into Montreal. I think we do House of Knives here and get a Prana. Because then they have to trash this, and this is like 4 credits and damage. Oh, they'll have $5. But if they're trashing this as more damage, I'm gonna do it. Yes, please. Okay, we're doing it. That's where you. Everyone in Toronto is looking for GWUMBUS. Really worried that GWUMBUS got out. GWUMBUS followed me home is a terrifying sentence. Genetically worse than GWUMBUS. As far as I know, Netrunner is a generic and a non-name for the system, not trademark. While Android Netrunner is the FFG trademark name. I believe that. But I think Netrunner is probably more belongs to Wizards at this point, like that term. Or even actually probably, I never get the name right, Tulsarian Games. I actually asked if Iris could get it. Can Iris give us more information on why GWUMBUS exists? I sent a screenshot of GWUMBUS to a friend of Scotland. It's gone international. Oh no, this is bad for us. Too bad. In the house of Christopher GWUMBUS is a hero. In this house, Christopher GWUMBUS is a hero. This is probably not good for us. Wizards don't own the IP anymore. They dropped it in COVID. Oh, neat. GWUMBUS is breathing through Andre. Fire all? My pleasure. Oh, Prana. Oh, Aaron, this card's cracked. There's a small chance we lose here, though. I hope they don't find the Blood in the Water. Shit, they found the Blood in the Water. So the right place to leave it in HQ. Wizards lost their TM on Netrunner 2 or 3 years ago. Okay, so that's the bad one. Because if they find it, they win. And it'll be a 1 in 3. And everything else in hand will be trashable. If they put it on top of R&D, that's a mistake. Because of Spin Doctor. But this is really quite bad for us. We're very likely going to lose on points. And do you know why? Because we didn't do 3 damage this turn. If we did 3 damage, this wouldn't be happening. I want to put blood on R&D. Not sure I do this prompt. You choose the cards. Then the order. I don't know why they're putting on top of R&D. They should leave it in HQ and go back. Talsorian or whatever they're called still hold it for tabletop RPG because it's tied to Cyberpunk. Yeah, whenever you search Netrunner like Cyberpunk, they put it on the top of R&D. That can't be right. I got a Spindo. I was worried we were going to lose running HQ. Now they can go ahead and pay 6. You can't let Anansi fire. But like, I'm starting to think they're a deep dive deck. Oh, fuck. Oh, man. It's fine. No big deal. They bottomed our other friend, right? Yeah. I think they're forgetting we have a Spin Doctor on the table, which is a very important card. I mean, okay. The story of GWUMBUS that the basement we were in was used by children during the week. Yeah, but like, how that? Because clearly It wasn't just like kids draw whatever you want. I really hope it was children draw, not children draw whatever you want. It was like, today we're going to draw a monster and we're going to talk about it because monsters are people too. I hope it just wasn't like draw what you see at night and then GWUMBUS appears. Like there must have been something. Oh, that's really cool that it comes back as a hit point, but I'm just going to hit that. We're just going to dilute R&D as much as we're going to put a Prana back in for Aaron and we'll put a cohort back in for me. They had some project where they had to invent fish. Oh, shit. I did not realize GWUMBUS swims. Yeah, they're realizing now. Yeah, if they left it in HQ, we were way more frightened of that. I botched that aura. Yeah, sorry. I was real worried you'd leave that in HQ and start fishing on the 1 and 3s. They can still access, right? Like they have to. GWUMBUS swims and has pants. The true gentleman. I don't know if GWUMBUS is either gentle or a man. Fuck. Oh, God. How do we lose 5 points? Cohort is so... Prana is so bad. Oh, God. 5 points? This is how all your matches went, Aaron, right? Doing very good. Bad suddenly. GWUMBUS only happy when it has a smubble. Always travel with some smubble. You gotta stay safe. You got John? John closed the game with no cards in hand, no cards in deck. Last run. Can't take away its smubble. Hey, cheers! Thanks for the game. Aaron, do we have access to Mikhail's version? Not that your version isn't the best and I like it a lot. But like, abstractly, is Mikhail's version also published? We probably would have won. You have it? Terrence, I'm not sure if you have Mikhail's version or you have Smubble. It's not very clear in the chat. Mikhail's was the net deck. Oh, Mikhail's is probably Bridgman's then. It's just Bridgman's deck. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Let's play Bridgman's. This is cool. I could see this. I needed to play it better. Apparently Resing Prana is important or something. Whatever. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to search Checkist Scion. Mikhail doesn't have a real collection anymore. I know that Mikhail just shows up and like plays. Corrected version. Like I don't think he plays consistently. All right, this is the version that I was interested to see. It has a whole bunch of different win conditions. Firstly, it has mitosis, so like we're gaming. It has a singleton end of line, which is really cool because if you hit a Checkist Scion that's double advanced, like I guess you lose. You often lose to that. We have Tattoo Bola, I said boner, Diviner and Tithe. We have 3 Cerebral Overrider, which like if that lands, the game's good. Single Charlotte's kind of fascinating. Interested to see that. We have no Reaper function. So it's not about the unadvanced cards on the table unless they're stings. Then we have one See How They Run, which double advance. Apparently they don't run it. They can die. That's always a tricky thing, and double Neurospike. We have the Trickle Light for a bit of flex, but this seems quite good. I mean, the day before he goes to a tournament, he PMs me what deck he wants to play, and I either print it or build it. Oh, cool. Is Andre on his villain arc? No, I just wanted to play. I wanted to see more Toronto PE because I didn't have the opportunity to play against it. Yo, good game. Nazi shut down R&D for me pretty quickly. Breaking it for 6 is like expensive. That's what like criminals expect to break for it. But yeah, like that's my problem with Pudma is I forgot you're playing Pudma. Some games Pudma just doesn't do anything, and it's like the frustration with Pudma. As much as I'm meant to be playing Pudma right now. I thought Bridgman played RH Punitive. He ended up bringing RH Punitive, but he said there was 2 lists he was thinking of bringing to the event. One was a PE list, and then the other one was RH, very similar to the one that he played at Worlds. And he played both of those RH decks at, if I'm not mistaken, Intercontinentals and at EMEA in person. Bridgman's back up. He's streaming every once in a while. I think he did a stream last week. He did stream before, so check out Finn's stuff. Finn's really good at the game. He's fun to watch. I had Poison probably kept getting pinged out of hand. That's the thing, though. You don't need to install your cards. You just need to touch cards. Like, for real, though, anytime they play a deck that's like this is a 4-card combo. I need to get this down, then attach this to this, and attach this to this. It's why, like, Techie P is such a bummer. It's like, just, you end up playing half your deck, if at all, like a quarter of your deck. Puma's only cool when it's enable my stim implant deck. I saw that one posted. Or I saw one posted. I'm not sure if it's yours. But like all the Pudma stuff, it's just like, it's so hard to make the game about R&D in a way that matters. Unless you're on game point, Pudma does not scare me. Trickshot scares me more than Pudma ever would. Hey, Tron. Flat. All right. So our hand has not very good. We can install Advanced Events Theoretica, but we probably want to hedge fund first. I'm going to mulligan. Don't tell Andre how much of your deck you get to play against Man of the Moon's PD. That's a good point. But you feel good playing every card you do play. That is better as soon as we have something like Mitosis. All right, we're not going to get burnered. We're not going to get trick shotted abstractly. I think we can put a Spin Doctor and Rashida on the table and just ice R&D. Obviously, all the points are still in R&D. Our opponent doesn't know that, but we need to block R&D because we need to draw traps to Mitosis. So we just need to keep them out. D, what do you think of Man of the Moon's PD? Do you think it's better than Reg PD? I'm pretty sure it might be, but for me, I'm more interested in the fact that it's more fun than Reg PD. I don't think Tron's gonna pay money here. Yeah. I mean, we talked about it. Ooh, those are good. Andre complaining about playing half a P deck. How do you think runners feel? No, I meant runners playing half of their deck. So that was Snare and Mitosis to the bottom. I think that's rude. Got no card draw though. Sometimes that is the fork with the tension with Burner and Lat. It turns off your card draw. We get away with Rashida. It's probably one of the best things on the table we could have had that wasn't checked. So Diviner, Tatubola, Charlotte, see how they run. Unfortunately, we don't have our Mitosis. We know that. We probably want to get a Tithe on HQ. It's enough. Tatubola and their modes over Charlotte. I think we can just leave HQ open for a second here. See how they run's a bit of a liability. Getting this cooking is probably pretty reasonable. Tested a fair bit. I don't think it's meaningfully better for worse, but I do think there's more room for iteration. Oh, very cool. You're right. They won't expect the second snare. Yeah, I find that list very, very, very fun. And I don't think I've played a matchup in which I felt like I was the worst. Like, I don't think I've played a matchup where I felt unfavored. It's also really cool how it can claw back from weird environments. Oh, that's not good for us. Like, what's the most impactful card we can get on the table here? Like, Cataloger's really good when we have Fujis. This is very strange. This sort of like combination. Like, we're playing like a Taya mid-range at this point. Don't look at the third server, but this does not feel like Mitosis P, and maybe it's because our Mitosis is on the bottom of the deck. I genuinely can't believe that I do think Shaper has the best HQ run in the whole game. How does Shaper have the best HQ run in the entire game? Like, if Diversion of Funds happens, whatever. If Burner happens, we lose our win condition. I mean, I guess you don't die to Saisantan here. How does Anarch have the best drip? No one's going to say the word criminal in any of these sentences. No fear? Respect. Got him. Free res busted. Doof, laughs, and YDL. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't care. Drip is curse in general. It's not as bad as it used to be, but like every criminal deck, I'm playing 2 drip cards. Carry on. Ah, you said approach. I miss Big Max. Yeah. Max was showing up in draft in Toronto. Max seems fun. Does criminal have the best sense of fashion? To have 7 cards in hand and not have to care about consequences of your actions. Probably feels good, lat. 3 Pet Tap, 3 Rozeki, Paladin, Mamie. 2 SMCs. Should I be frightened? I mean, probably. I don't think Tron runs this, which is why it is the perfect crime. Oh no! Why is res above advance on this thing? Okay, let's talk about that. Say it's an Netrunner game and it's a competitive event. What happens if you do that? Like, are you allowed to pull it back in hand and shuffle it up? And then if that's the case, should that be meta? Like showing the street blow overrider? I know what you're saying. That could be anything. Do it again? I need to do it again. Actually, do it again would be fun. I legitimately made the play more interesting. Literally anything. Could be. And now it's up to Tehran to be like, do you want to get a Fuji or like something terrible scored out to you because Andre showed you the Cerebral Overrider? I don't think he's going to run it, and that's sad. I was going back in earlier parts of the video looking for GWUMBUS, but there's a PDF for sale for self-printing. The timing chart cards available in resource and GLC in case you want to print them for non-trail and NPC. Oh, that actually might be a good idea. If you see a Cerebral Overrider here in HQ, you're like super concerned. Steve Cambridge? Come on. You really should be more careful. Yeah, I know. Next level Yomi. Are you allowed to do it? I'm not ever getting Bernard again. Forget the fuck. I should have put that on the table. Imagine we did, though. That was like totally the cooler line. Is to actually put that on the table. I'm going to tempo Mindscape here, but I have nothing better to do. I don't think you're allowed to do that. But what about if you do? Because I'm pretty sure I would say confidently you're not allowed to do that. You're allowed to say this is a snare. I'm pretty sure if it's not known. Like, you're allowed to joke around. Cards in hand, he should ask right now. If I was playing in person, I'd ask cards in hand. JNet, the problem with JNet is that I don't get the sort of psychic damage. I am not allowed to deliver by constantly asking cards in hand. I honestly ask cards in hand every time. And like I think it does something to players. Like it must. Thank you. Obviously that looks like he's flailing. Don't worry about it. This is fine. Good. It's also a warning to reveal and confirm information like that. Remember trying to figure out why it should be illegal and then decided nothing would come of allowing it? Temple Mindscape. I think Temple Mindscaping was probably correct, and then we just spin away the card we don't want to draw. I ask cards in hand in every game, even when it doesn't. Oh yeah, I ask all the time just because I like to make sure players aren't over hand size, and because it matters. Like if you have 3 cards in hand, cool, you're probably in a bad spot. Or like even 2 cards in hand, I'm not worried about it. That's real, surely. Oh man, I really wish that we didn't put it on the table. But then, you know, when Tehran runs HQ, there's like no Sicenton respect. I guess he would SMC it. I'm gonna ask action in case like you want to hush something, in case it's a anemone. When I get asked cards in hand, it helps me remind me to keep my cards up versus P. Great. Good, it's working for both of us then. Am I the only one in this chat that just counts? Sometimes you can't count. Like I close my hand when it's not my turn if I don't put it on the table. Man, this is blackjack. All right, the breaker is down, so we're paying money to break stuff. Cool. Like, I think I get frustrated when Bravado is a good splash, but it's Bravado's problem. Sorry, it's not me. Fanning out hands on the table and swinging coffee is my attack. Yeah, I end up doing that a fair bit, but as a runner, I don't fan my hand out. Bravado, yeah, a lot of Shaper decks are just playing 2 Bravados because influence is not very tight, and like it's good, and then you play Steve. I'm just doing this so that Steve doesn't get value. IA the Sting. I would have done it. This is really bad because install advance is like baby. Like you just don't worry about it. Copulation doesn't beat ambushes, right? No, because it's an axis trigger. No. The corporate tend to just end my turn with X cards and hand over to you. Yeah, that's a good way of doing it. There's a chance that this actually is pretty bad for Tron. Like you can die the double snare. There's some risks here. Funny how the best Steve deck is play as many red cards as possible and Shapers are hijacking all the blue cards. Yes. I don't think anybody got good cards in this last set besides Shapers. Pressure Spike. Okay, still break Tattoo for 1. That's fine. 1 snares on the bottom. We could shuffle. I'm not going to. We also could lose. Yeah, we could lose. NGO front got trashed. Stolen Urtica. Very, very rude. Yeah, this costs real money. I'll res it. Keeping this as a surprise kind of matters, but if we don't res it on 8 credits, like, what surprise are we keeping? Like, if that was an Anansi, it's actually pretty annoying. He knows we don't have ice. Have a good night, Chad. Hope to see you at Nationals this weekend. You're not going to see me, but you Sangren, best of luck at Nationals. I don't know if you're playing or judging. I think you're playing. Hopefully you have a good time, huh? Haven't seen a console yet. I'm pretty sure it's on a com. That's worrying. Tattoo Bola. I'm going to keep the blood in the water. Top the snare, yeah, 100%. Good luck for Nats, Jeff. Yeah. I sorely miss NGO front if it doesn't get reprinted, since it can be forced to spend influence on Charlotte and BTL. Yeah. I'd be surprised. It's slow and expensive. It's the best of both worlds. But it's just fast enough. Andre traveled down to Boston for Netrunner for a 3rd time. I've done a fair bit of traveling. We got a prognosis back, unfortunately, for our very old car. We've been driving a Chevy Aveo from 2010, and the mechanic says, when the winter comes, you have to turn this into a cube, because the chassis is so rusted that, like, you should not be driving long haul. Genuinely, my drives down to the States were probably a mistake. A bit of a gamble, as they would say. So that puts us between cards, unfortunately. Oh, I don't want to score that. No, this thing is our little secret. How's it going your way? I know that we could score it. In fact, we can only do it on the runner's turn. I mean, on our corpse turn, but why would we score it? It's just hanging out there. Oh, of course we drew his thing. Snare. So this does 2 damage. This does nothing. We're going to have a money issue because Treble Overrider costs 3. Be careful with the order of these cards. You're killing me? No, I wanted to draw that snare. Arguably, I should have iced that, but I didn't want to. We stacked the snare? Yeah, we stacked the snare. Environmental testing makes me assume Tron's going to do some weird coalescence stuff. Merely a turbine probably still comes down. Spin before you draw? Yeah, maybe. This is sick because it gives us 4 credits. I'm beginning to think the problem is with my P deck, and Andre just doesn't know how to play P. Yo, I take big offense to that. I take huge offense. I've played a lot of PE in my time. I'm probably not playing it perfectly, but I'm also jamming. Shots fired? I'm not even catching strays. I'm just catching the bullets, like, intentionally. But, like, I don't mind drawing the snare. It's like we're not drawing anything that we actually can put on the table. Like, I don't think Tron's running any of these. Ooh, 1 Cerebral Overrider down. That actually helps us. Oh, she can't play PE t-shirts for Worlds. Okay, this goes now. So put that back in. And I honestly think we put back in Cerebral. All right, the snares are back up. In theory, this does 700 damage. Like, Tron is not respecting our board. Because this does 700 damage, right? Like, this is 3 damage, 2 damage. This is a lot. Tron might just want to check one of these. This is a little silly. Yeah. Just go check one of them. Oh, Coalescence? Oh, yeah, fine. Yeah, 2 Ronin just sitting there. Fuck. Got advanced to 4. I think we need to. The deck has no Ronins, right? I fought against myself to do the snare. Snare's honestly not bad. But like this is the board state where you have to run the right stuff. Unfortunately, we can only fire one overrider because it costs 3, but like check a Scion could be on the table. This is where like the game doesn't care about your breaker suite and your economy, and it just says you gotta touch some of these cards. So shit, Tron's touching the right cards. Imagine that was an overrider. One of Clearinghouse wins. Yeah, the deck's not on any. Okay. I think that it makes sense to run that. That's bad. Oh, Lobby. Gets lat draw. We're cooked. We're so cooked. Oh, this is bad. This is really bad. So if nothing was ran there, that does Sting does 2, Sting does 2, this does 1. Maybe lethal. That'll be next turn's problem. Yeah, we did get soul red. Like I'm not gonna pretend we didn't. Putting this behind. I mean, maybe this looks like a Rashida. Dude smelled the desperation mitosis. I know. Imagine like having this many advanced things on the table and it not being a problem, and then you mitosis another 2 things. Like clearly, these are not agendas, and those have to be agendas by rule. Like I think it makes sense. What if we get hit by retrieval run? It's fine. I don't think we care about a lobby. We have like 2 code gates. We're getting so ruined. Oh, headshot. That's fine. I mean, we did more in. That was the runner's whole turn. Click for 4. We did that twice. No big deal. Unfortunately, we know there's only 1 snare in there. We lose on R&D more than once. Is this good? What do you mean? Like a deck? Yeah, the deck is good. I'm not playing it great. Our opponent is playing it fine. Like we lose to Cataloger here. Oh no, probably 1 Cataloger. We have a Spin Doctor. I feel like we need to get our hand size down so we weren't giving lat draw on 5 cards. Yeah, that's probably true. I have forgot that we're playing against lat. It is a Cataloger, so we probably have to just like flinch Spin Doctor. Or are they cataloging with Spin on the board? It pops a Spin Doctor. It's probably not correct, but like I don't think it matters. Like they should just run Spin Doctor first. It's just like this is also not great for us. I guess. I think Tron forgot. That's a good play. You can just do it again. Like it doesn't really matter. Oh, sick. Respect. That was just a button. I've never seen that. Someone just say F it button. Good game. Oh man, that was garbage. But we did admittedly res a cerebral overrider, which is that's already like a warning. So yeah, there's a win button on the cataloger. What the hell? Absolutely snipe. Not even like stream sniping, it's code sniping. Tron's in there, looking through with the JNet server, seeing what the top of our idea is. Hey, thanks for the game. 300 confirmed kills. We'll do another one. I don't know. People love mitosis on JNet casual. Oh man. Yeah, like Neo in the Matrix. I've never seen anyone do it. It's really, really funny. I really wish that we put an agenda on the table. But again, if Tron like burners HQ and sees the cerebral overrider and the jig is up, you just run that. Trickshot and Cataloger seem like a non-bow overkill. But I guess that's Shaper. Eli, how's it going? Yeah, but they're independently both good. So why the heck not? Right? Like there's so many board states in which Trickshot is just kind of cracked. And then like, why not have a Cataloger? You're right, though. If it's a bit of a loss, but even on that board site, like talk about that. If they had overclock, if he overclocked this, he runs the server for free and then he does Cataloger, or he can run the server for free and in the same click trash an asset for free. Right? Like you're right. You're losing the 2 multi-axis, but I think that's like my piece about Trickshot is you can cut off one of the sentences on Trickshot and it's still a totally cromulent card. But you're not right. I mean, you're not wrong. I've ran into that same problem where like I feel bad trick-shotting R&D when I'm going to Cataloger, but at the end of the day, it's fine. I'm good. Me and Mondi are waiting for ECN to happen. Yo, let's go. Y'all got your decks ready? Night, Aaron. Now play Barf Thule. Barf Thule, I think, is at least a bit more interesting because it is more of like you have to piece out the combo. And I feel like it's more proactive, less reactive. Like in PE, you need to set up weird board states, but at the end of the day, the runner is mostly in control of what's going to happen. Because at the end of the day, they just have to run the right stuff, not run the wrong stuff. Thule can kind of make some board states that are unwinnable outside of tech. And Daria, I know you just want to show up with a knife deck, so I'm not going to do it. Monty brought their whole collection. Okay, great. So you're telling me at the last minute on the Friday night in Boston, you'll make a hostile architecture deck. All the best to you, Monty. Yeah. Hey, Alex. Okay. Mitosis, Fuji, and Cerebral Overrider. Can I think of a higher variance play? This is perfect for us. Hell yeah. I was gonna make the joke too, and I just like didn't get to it. But you said I'm recording a video about how to build a deck for QTM. I'm like, okay, there's hostile architecture in it, right? Or hostile infrastructure. I forget which one we're on. We're on architecture right now, and it was like 100%. I think the first sentence. It was sick. Highest. Just an absurd amount of variance to this play, but that's how we're gonna do it. Yeah, we're in architecture. Yeah, the benches for sure. Yo, Toronto, what a game. That's a hand we can work with. So Arizon is on the triple deep dive, like, you know, that sort of gaming. So this Fuji, like, we actually probably need to advance both of these once and just put an ice on R&D. Well, that's good. This is only net damage. It's only during a run too. But in theory, we need to advance both of these once. Otherwise, yeah, we need to. Because this does 4 damage. And then we'll just go ahead and I think we rather have the Tattoo Bola because it's money. That being said, we don't want to end in a situation. Tithe is actually technically money too. We care more about damage than keeping you out. Hello, JNet? JNet? Oh, it's 67 cards. I didn't notice that. Yeah, with Airblades. Okay, this is World Tree. No, you're 100% right. This is not the thing. Telework. D99. So whenever programmer hardware is trashed, first time a turn, you get a power counter. Spend 3 of them to add a card that is Shaper back to hand. Let's talk about how much damage we got here. Let's just talk damage numbers. Oh, fuck, we win. Oh no, I'm a credit short. You. Yeah. It hurts my soul. Oh, it hurts so bad. We didn't. No, we didn't do it. We still win? No. No, that's only 4 damage. We don't win. No, we're 1 off. It's 4 damage. Be cool. What a curse turn. Blood doesn't do lethal. Blood only does 1 damage. So Fuji does 2, P does 1, Blood does 1. It gets us to 5 points, which is like probably something we should do. But this also can win the game. It's not 3+1+1, it's 2+1+1. That's not a good card to read. Hey man. So like, we all know how much Neurospike costs, right? Like we knew the number, right? Obokata did 4, and it was not on steal. I mean, not on score. Yeah, if we triple advance the Cerebral, how sick would that have been to do 5 core damage? Snare -1. I knew that. That's good. We probably should have scored 5 points, right? Like not scoring it was definitely not the play. Oh, fuck. That's really annoying too. Oh, we kind of did 4, but it was additional cost to score, to steal. Scoring it did nothing. It did 1. And a World Tree? I'm so embarrassed. I want to stop streaming. I think we can come back in August maybe, but that was literally the worst thing. Like, I've made bad plays, but just having the excitement drain as quickly as it came, that's how we feel. Air belly recursion is pretty brutal. You think they can recur this? Shred, I think it was cerebral, yeah, but then we don't have 3 credits. Like, it's very clear one of them is a trap. I don't know. I'm just gonna tilt my way through the rest of this game. I'm just gonna tilt my way through the rest of this game. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, with D99, you're right. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, whatever. I don't think that's the worst thing. Literally just clicking for a card back is sometimes, oh, you can just draw, I guess. That's fine. Fast advancing at 3-2 after scoring the luminal feels just as good. You can't do that, Lazy. When you score luminal, you can't score any more points. Sorry, you've self-reported, and now the judges are coming for you. Whatever tournament that you just absolutely ruined with your shenanigans. Yeah, we Chris is on his way, and I'd be scared. Fuck, why is Shaper like this? Why do we have to make Shaper like this? I'm just trying to have a good time. And it's like worse than diversion. I was so excited, and then JNet wouldn't let me. I'll be honest, I've done that before. So now they're gonna put it back, and we lose because they're gonna run HQ, hit to see how they run, then they're gonna run back for the blood in the water. I hate so much about what this game is right now. Please don't hit to see how they run. Damn. Are you kidding me? Fucking why? Why is this happening? I know why, because we punted it, but like, good game. Oh man, what a disaster. Who's the beatdown? We are. We had a 5 events card we left on the table, and then they were like, hey, I probably should touch that. Actually, it makes sense. Oh crap. That was so bad. But for real though, like, can we not give Shaper the best HQ the HQ pressure card in the history of the game? Oh, okay, hold on. That sentence was way too many words for it to actually be reasonable. Can we not give Shaper the best HQ pressure card in the format? It could have also scored the Fuji without spiking them. Oh yeah, 100%. But at that point we should have just Fuji'd into like the play. If we weren't on stream and this was a tournament, I would have scored the Fuji and then blood in the watered. And we would have been on 5 points and we wouldn't have been holding this brick. I'm good at P, Andre 20 minutes. Hey, I rezzed the product. I'm a good PE player now. Birder loses games. John, I think I missed one of your messages earlier. How's it going? Oh, but kind of felt so bad. Yeah. When film critic left, 100% for the other person. Call the ambulance. I didn't get to use my D99, so I think we both lost the game. Alex, were you going to bring the Airblades back in infinitely? And was I going to lose to that? Like, was I going to lose to another recursion card? You should play the PE deck I built. Eli, it's probably very similar to the one I played earlier that Aaron played. I'm assuming. And it's not a style of PE I'm really good at. Arguably, there's no style of PE seems that I'm good at, but like... Andre, you didn't lose it because you're wearing that stylish t-shirt and people who look fly aren't losers. There's like, it's really, really nice. So I made these shirts at Toronto World Championship 2022. They were expensive because I went for a nicer t-shirt. No disrespect to Toronto shirts, they're really nice. And folks show up to events with them. I don't though, because I'm so damn embarrassed to show up in my own brand because I look like a, I don't know. I feel like it's a weird look to be like, hey, I'm Andre from the Metropole Grid, but then like John shows up, Steven shows up, they're all in their nice red shirts. Maybe I should just support the team by supporting my own team. Respect. The WT, the World Tree? Sorry, Chris? Maybe. That sounds good. The fun, though, is just playing 6 trick shots. I think trick shots kills you. How do you normally trash programs in the deck? Oh, that's the question. Yeah, with World Tree. Should make a Metropole Grid mic flag for my roaming reporting. Figuring out Alex's deck. Yeah, I imagine it's just World Tree every turn, right? So it gets you power counter. I'm pretty sure District 99 is like 4 influence. So I would be very surprised if needing more recursion in such a value bomb deck is like the thing that you want to do. But it's probably hella fun. What if merch was just an armband? What? Andre Matt exists? Wait, oh yeah, the Andre Matt exists, but that was because it's sick. Yo, hey, it's Jackmade. Isn't it really late? Oh, I feel bad playing P. How many times can you burn her with D99? A lot. Yeah, I was gonna say. Pretty late out there. I'm doing well. Grinding P and J Night Casual, so everything is going according to plan. I just keep using sandwich chips and such to get lots of D99 counters. Only 436? You're not sleeping at all? This is Felix. If I'm not mistaken, Felix in Germany. Jackmade, great player, World's top 16. I think Jackmade was the only player at Worlds last year who played every single round. Let's see. Sable, that's exactly what he was playing before. Don't like to see how they run. Like, you use simul chips to trash coalescence, you get like 2 counters. Yeah, on 2 turn. Oh. Now, the only thing that can fix this hand is a mitosis. Yeah, so you have to do them on 2 different turns. Simul chip to grab Muse to grab coalescence. Yeah. Perfect hand. Thank you. Thanks, you too. Yeah, fun. Okay, honestly, I don't know. If Sable rolls an HQ mark. Welcome to Métropole Grid. My name is Andre. I decided to play personal evolution because I'm like hurting people in casual play. I don't believe in karma. So this is called a reader. This is you put out there. I don't know how fishing works. I don't like the idea of fishing, but like, and you see what happens. We got to see if Felix runs this, if Jackmade doesn't run this. And that's going to tell us something about how we're going to. That's fine. That's genuinely fine. That's why we did this, because we can't play around this anyways. If diversion happens here, that was 2 clicks for 2 credits. Now you're thinking, I can't resist Cerebral Overrider and hit you, but that could still be check a Scion. I'm going to be for real. I wasn't playing strictly cash. Oh, that's really bad. I forgot that that's a problem. Oh, there's the guy. This is a huge issue. I do not know what to do about this. How do you play Shell Game PE against Hermes? I'm asking for a friend. Like, this is so cursed. Imagine our opponent doesn't touch a single agenda for the rest of the game. I mean, you cry? Yeah, you cry. And then you realize, though, one thing that's very important to understand. One thing that is honestly really important to understand is that you can score 2 agendas in the same paid ability window. So it's not like we can score one gets. Oh, no, you can. Wait, can you score 2 agendas in the same paid ability? I don't think you can. Because it's still your paid ability window, but then it's a reaction on scoring, so you can't. Wise person told me don't get doofed. What do you want me to do? You want me to put my check of Scion sideways in front of HQ? Yeah, Hermes interrupt. Yeah, okay. So you can score 2 in the same paid ability window, but Hermes fires when it doesn't work. It strictly does not work. At this point, putting this on HQ is worth nothing. Yeah, it's a trigger. Yeah, it's like a not a paid ability, but it's the other type of paid type ability. Because it's not a paid ability. It's a. I had to learn the name for the timing window, but then I even said I don't know what the name is. I mean, this sucks. So we shouldn't have put out 2 agendas. Yeah, trigger. There's technically a better word in the rules, but yeah, that's not incorrect. Reaction, everyone's saying words. I'm not going to agree with any of them. I know there was a good word in there. Info bounty, R&D is the mark. It's been for every turn so far. Sure hope there's no agendas in here. Actually, I do hope there's an agenda. You bounce one of these, I don't care. Bummer. Sometimes in CI7, you put 7 points of stuff on the board with Cyberdecks and then score 7 before the runner can pull it back, yeah. Bummer. I mean, like, everything's going pretty poorly. We need more money. Conditional ability, that's it. That's it. So we need 6 credits. Everyone be cool. We do lose to Class Act. HQ is the mark. That hurts. That really does hurt. The Sting is good for them to hit. Oh my god, just take your 3. No, it's not good because it bounces to Fuji. Just score a knock at the Krupi out of the hand, lock them out. Yeah, but then the Amakua comes down. This will actually impact the game. Get the Chekkas down, they might bounce that. Yeah, maybe. Stop it. Nice. Okay, Carmen in hand. I think we need to fix our hand. 0 agendas. Fuck. Like, what's the chance of that? We literally cannot fix our hand now because we drew 2 agendas on the Spin Doctor. What the hell's going on? With Karsh, how's it going? Oh, crap. Now you draw and ditch 2 Blood in the Waters? I mean, I think Blood in the Water helps us win sometimes. Like, now the turn taking so long is, like, obviously very cursed. But, like, what is our game plan here? We do Advance Sting. We can do 1, 2, 3 damage. Not great. We can do Advance, we're down to 4. We can't threaten. I think we just take 2 and throw it a Blood in the Water and just be like, I hope. Oh, man, this is so bad. I draw 1 more. Fine. Fine. Maybe Advance Fuji is better than credit. But we need 6 credits to do the combo anyway, so I don't think advancing it matters. It just, like, makes us lose harder if we get bounced. With Carmen now, Jack might actually face check. Triple Advance Fuji. Diversion 3. There's not a lot of points in R&D, honestly. Like, I don't think I care. You can still see 2 cards here, but this drops us to... Nah, we... I like it. There's no way he's going to bounce this. This is a bit risky. We have 5 points in the bin, 4 points on the table, 2 in hand. There's no way. Sick. It was a 2 credit mark, though, and it clicked back, but, like, I'm going to say that's sick. Tell me how scoring Fuji and forcing Sting back to hand versus Clemmy is bad, because I want to win. I want to kill. We can't score to 7. We need to score to death. Right? Like, yeah, we could get 3 points, but also we could maybe win. Right? Like, now we probably win with Advanced Sting, Blood in the Water, or something like that. He has to consider clearing the tag. Right? Like, we're trying not to score to 7. We're trying to win the game. Like, we win here. We believed in ourselves. Hold on. This last click actually is important. We win! World's top 16 finalists is what I need to raise my PE spirits up. Badoosh. Oh, I'm glad we didn't res that tattoo bowl. Imagine. Yeah, so the agendas on the table. That was cursed. Yeah, I had 2 agendas on the table. Tried to draw with spin to ditch the 1 in hand. Or 2 more. Yeah, really good. Good snare there. All right, we're back. I'm good at P again. Hooray! Oh, easy game. Oh man. Jack didn't boost the Carmen. I think you do boost the Carmen there. Maybe you want the credits to trash. I'm not sure. Like rushing multi-axis isn't always like the right thing to do against P, but there's always a window there to boost. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yes, I needed this. So the last two games. Oh, they were brutal. Smeltable in the water, went for the kill. Yeah. Obviously, turn it off the stream for. Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for the game, eh? Hopefully, you get whatever amount of sleep you want. What version of PE now? I don't know. Maybe we'll do Eli's. We probably should just take a second to do news, but we'll be back. Only 10:45. Hey, Joe. I'm glad I tuned in for a win. There's a very small window in the stream that you can tune in for that. So like, you're honestly very lucky. It's like Haley's comment or whatever. On that note, I need to go see the Northern Lights. That's on the bucket list. Okay. News really quickly, because then we had to get back to the PE gameplay. We talked about the recruitment drive. That's still ongoing. There's another run together pack. Am I understanding this correctly? That there's a spring pack and now there's a summer pack? Is that correct? And then the EU store outage, which is just cursed. So Run Together is a community-made art pack of Netrunner cards that now NSG is doing some sort of legwork behind selling it. This is originally a Bushi thing, but now NSG is running it, which is pretty wild. That's pretty cool. So I believe you can get this straight from the NSG store. And I do think this is now a summer pack, so it's different cards. We've seen the spring pack before. We saw some really cool stuff in it, but I believe this is totally separate. I did not know that they do that. That's pretty cool. So now we get to see other cards. There's a lot of really bangers in the last one. Let's see what the bangers are in this set is. So what do we see here? Cursed Cookbook, that's cool. Love Isoma, the Wolf Playing, love it. Pastel Sev is pretty sick. That's some great for Zeramart. Rikoko? Wait, didn't they ban that? Still good we have it. Oh, Sick Wheels doing the Akira slide with the dog. That's pretty awesome. And we get some full arts and stuff. Is that a Hydra? Oh, it's a Bravado? I guess it's the runner standing in front of the Bravado, which is like a Hydra-esque. There's actually a cross-stitch pinhole threading. Wait, that's sick. World Tree, Burner's great. Needs an alt art for sure. Glad we have one. Echelon. There's like, it's really hard to make alt arts for like Echelon and Unity, but there are cards I want are alt arts. I know there's a full art Unity floating around, but like, it's hard to come at Liga, but I really do respect that. That's really quite good. Orca alt art is something that people want at this point in time, which is fantastic. Essa, blocky Essa is cool. Good old Cloud Eater Dragon, and a Seraph. That's really cool. This Seraph actually has some like good 3D to it. It feels like the Seraph is in the space, which is great. So check that out. That is some names there. Which one's the Scottiminga? Fazarum, maybe? I love how the names are created like that. I think that's really sick. But anyways, the funds from this help get folks to accessibility to Worlds, World 2024 in San Francisco. So if you're involved in this, that's phenomenal. And if you want to get involved, also if you require any amount of assistance, as small as it is, reach out for the Run Together fundraiser. It exists to help people get to Worlds. So if getting to Worlds is slightly out of your budget, a lot out of your budget, any amount of like whatever comfort and accessibility, NSG does prioritize that. So do reach out. Sometimes it's really hard to ask for help, especially when it comes to help for money. Asking for money is very difficult sometimes. So hit up FFG. Oops, hit up NSG. That will help Run Together. That's what it's for. It's really sick. Great initiative. Very, very cool. The next thing up is the EU store outage. Yo, the EU store seems to be hyper cursed. This has been problems. There's been problems. We've seen updates over updates. Some of them are entirely, I think a lot of them have been entirely out of control of NSG. There was just like a physical injury for the person holding the store down, which like I hope they're doing better now. That's obviously a terrible thing to hear. But currently EU store is in a bad spot. They're running into problems between Shopify providing valid addresses and freight details and Chronos Post module. They're just running into like major technical problems. If you're in the EU and you're still up listening to this right now live, that's obviously a huge bummer. I don't know where you get Netrunner cards if not from NSG. NSG has done a great job in North America to make their store very, very great. As a Canadian, ordering for NSG is fantastic. Things show up within a week. It's really, really, really good. Netrunner cards UK has stock, so maybe EU people can buy from there. Okay. But they've talked about what's next. This is really important. We focused internal team looking at solutions. I believe they said they're going to look at something else entirely. We decided the best option to find a new shipping solution. I don't think that's going to come fast. Maybe it will. Maybe it'll be around pretty soon. But yeah, just take some, like, it's obviously a bummer. I would hate to be in that situation where it's hard to get hold of cards as much as proxies are illegal. Obviously, you want the cards as much as also Energy wants you to have the cards for like multiple reasons, but that's definitely a bummer for sure. We expect testing and validation to continue throughout the coming week, and some of this will involve staging work for the orders we already have in store. We'll have further update at the end of the next week. Okay, so that should be this week if I'm not mistaken. Thanks for everyone for exceptional patience. Apologies again for the delay to your orders. Shout out from Dave Redemptor Thomas. Dave answers tickets, which is like such an important job, but it's probably pretty thankless. So shout out to Redemptor, who's been like the person answering support tickets whenever I send them in as well. So there's probably a bunch of people who do that. That's really cool. Okay, I want to talk about Daybreak because I want to play Daybreak. I got Daybreak recently and played a couple games of it. I want to talk about it, but it only makes sense if you've played Daybreak before. It's a Matt Leacock cooperative game about like reversing global warming and like global change, environmental disaster and stuff like that. It's a cooperative game technically, kind of like Pandemic, same sort of like pretty bad theme if you think about it, but the way that it's presented is pretty good. Did Matt Leacock make Pandemic? Matt Leacock made Pandemic, yeah. Otherwise, tickets, again, APAC Sunday. This is a Frozen Summer Showdown. The Man in the Moon is running. It is this weekend on Saturday. Daybreak is pretty fun. Okay, maybe we can talk about it really quickly because I played a couple games so far. This is coming up. This is an online tournament the same day as the AMT, but you can play in both. Very specifically, I think Man in the Moon is registered as well for the standard AMT, so you can play in both. It looks like the time zone's good for both APAC and West Coast America specifically, and there's some really cool prize support. Man in the Moon's been running really great online events with like real prizing being sent to your door. I do think there's a registration cost that does cover that, but yeah, this is sick. Get involved if you can, especially if you're on the West Coast or APAC. This looks like a fun event. It's this weekend. Now, if you're not getting involved in this and you're in America, it's probably because you're playing at East Coast Nationals. Shout out to Daria, who's running this at the Battleground Games, where we were for NPC Boston, which is a pretty great store. Specifically, you must buy the ticket online due to limited capacity. I know there's another card game event going on that weekend. It might be quite busy in there for better or for worse. There's not going to be a stream of it, unfortunately, but there's going to be a lot of people coming in to play some really high stakes Netrunner. It's in fact a Nationals. We see some cool prize support here. Some acrylic IDs from the last set. So Thule, a bit older, Atea, Op, a bit older, and Epiphany, pretty cool. And then this Arasana that I want to say is Esbior, but I'm not sure exactly if this is Esbior's art. This is really, really great. I really like this. Come to East Coast Nats, yeah, for sure. Buy your ticket ahead of time, though. Please don't show up and buy tickets at the door. It's going to be a problem. People are going to mess this up. Of course they're going to mess this up. So if you're watching this, please do it online. Yeah, it's a Magic pre-release. I believe the Red Wall set or whatever it's called is coming out. Got my viruses recently, plus an extra brawn. Oh, super cool. I played on BGA and enjoyed it. I played solo on BGA and got bodied. And people say this game is relatively easy. And my partner and I played a couple games and got bodied. And then we played it again yesterday night and it was relatively easy. We could probably have a longer conversation about this. This might not be the good time for it, but I'm not convinced it's that interesting. I'm convinced you just play your hand and you don't have a lot of ability to react to board state or to react to crises in a way that feels like you're doing anything particular. To me, what I've played so far, it just felt like here's an engine, and specifically you're not trying to build an engine, you build cards. It's kind of like Res Arcana. You got a handful of cards, which are these like what are they called? Public projects. And then you can support projects, local projects, or you can fund other projects and kind of bolster them so that they're a bit more efficient and they work. Art's gorgeous, but from what I've seen feel so far, like the speed of the game doesn't incentivize you to build engines. You're just kind of trying to react as quickly as possible and do as much as you can right now and not think too much about the future, which is kind of interesting. But I haven't felt like it gives me enough ways to have agency. It's always just like, okay, you need to make all the bad stuff go away. So whatever you do, just make the bad stuff go away. Oh, there's crises coming up. They require you to tuck cards. Maybe we'll tuck the card. But it hasn't really felt like, I don't know, that you have to actually respond to the board. It just feels like turn after turn, you're just doing the same thing. This is third on board game hotness, so I imagine more people are going to be playing this relatively soon. It's pretty easy found. Yeah, I don't know why we got bodied. I feel like the first two games my partner Maddie and I played, we were like trying to build engines. Where like this is a column where we're stacking a lot of this, and this is a column we're stacking like this. And what we realized is like you can't do that. At least on the normal difficulty, as much as possible, you just use a lane, fire all the cards in it, and then just put something on top of it and fire that. Like your priority is just to make all your numbers as small as possible because you're reducing like bad like dirty energy and the sources that cause pollution, and just like getting that down at all costs is the game. We were also playing solitaire. Like we weren't talking to each other because there's not a lot of cooperation. I know I played this in 4 players, and in 4 players there were more cards and abilities that allowed you to give cards to other people and actually cooperate. But we played 2 whole games without talking to each other, which is kind of strange for what's meant to be a cooperative game. And maybe on higher difficulties that's a bit more important. Like I played as USA, and USA has a small population and has relatively a lot of clean energy. Well, my Maddie played as China, and China had a massive population, a lot of population growth, and a lot of industries that were producing pollution. So it looked like she had a lot more work. And as America, I had some strengths. I was able to give aid a lot easier. And maybe on higher difficulties, I have to like do what the America starts with and actually work into like she was able to export green energy and make green energy, but she had her own problems. And maybe on higher difficulties, that's a bit more focused. Felt like I played a game with the same premise like 5 years ago. Yeah, I don't know what that'd be. Any comparisons to Pandemic? I like the game even if the most experienced player tends to dominate. It's not at all like Pandemic. Like, actually, I like a lot of parts of Pandemic better, and I'm not a big Pandemic fan. I think Pandemic is such a great, as people say, like, what's it called? Gateway game. Because for a lot of people who haven't played modern board games, it's approachable, like the take 2 turns on your turn thing, like take 2 actions, move, or is it 3 actions? I forget. But I do think Pandemic inherently has no reason being a cooperative game, because somebody can quarterback, as they called, and there's just like, there's no reason for one person not to play as every character. That's a hard thing to fix. And so like a lot of cooperative games will have, you know, hidden information, or like, I don't know, I don't think hidden roles. But Pandemic is much more reactive, right? Where things are coming out of the deck that you have some sort of expectation where it's like, okay, I know these cities are coming up in the next 5, so we need to react to that because there's a risk this will happen, and then that will cause this to happen. Bad things happen in Daybreak, and there's randomness in Daybreak. There's a deck full of crises, and every turn you draw 3 or 4 of them or whatever, but you can't really react to them. They're just kind of random, and they just do bad things to you. It's not like saying, oh, over here, this city is going to have a problem unless I use this card we've been saving to solve that problem. Yeah. Oh, CO2. I've heard of that. Would you say that Pandemic is a system gateway? Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. Pandemic's games are often called put out the fire games. Yeah, which there's something good to that, because there's a fire you're reacting to. In this game, it's just like every turn you're making more carbon than you can sequester. And so you just need to get that carbon number down. Very, very rarely is there a card that says specifically, if you're producing this carbon from this source, something specifically bad's going to happen to you. So from turn after turn after turn, what we've seen, just bring your carbon down. Right? Like, it's not we're presented a different problem on turn 2 than turn 3 than turn 4, let alone if we were, the cards that we're given don't feel like they give us a lot of ways to react to it. I don't know. It's strange. Maddie and I finally beat it a couple times in a row, and then we beat it a 3rd time. And we're like, I don't know if this is good. I play Spirit Island in a group of 4 players, and we need brain power of all 4 of us to survive. But the cool thing with Spirit Island is that spirits interact. And also you have an idea of where you start. Your board state changes from turn to turn to turn, but also there's some, like, you know, something happens between the slow and fast phase that you have to kind of predict. Spirit Island is actually one of my favorite cooperative games on the basis that it's really hard to quarterback. You have an idea what people are capable of, but it's all reactive. I don't know. I've been really like not impressed with Daybreak so far. And I know it's like one of the hottest. I want more people to play it to let me know what they think, but the card playing is kind of cool. But it just doesn't feel like it gives you enough ways to feel like you're in charge of anything. And the board state is the same every single turn. Never played this before, but it feels almost bad in the opposite way Pandemic is. It's really strange. I was so hyped for this because it's gorgeous and the theme is great. And like its tone and the way that it like paints a future that is like possible. And the sort of idea that like small changes in policy can have a snowballing effect in an engine builder to someday overcome the sort of like really frightening future that it currently exists before us. I kind of wanted that. But then playing this game, it's like it does give you that tone, and it's cool when you win. Forest fires also are a terrible thing. I don't know. Yeah, I'm worried. Tell me what you think. A lot of people like this. Of course they do. It's doing well. Love to come to Board Game Talk. Kato, how's it going? Have you played Daybreak? I feel like I don't know. Always surprised how little exposure even in heavy TCG, LCG players have to hobby board games. Yeah, Chris, it's a really weird thing. You're right about that, but I think Netrunner is the different one. right? This conversation was coming up at CanNats, where it's like, it's actually easier to a lot of people to explain Netrunner as a board game in some ways than a card game, especially for players who are like, don't play card or board games. But specifically, I think a lot of people come into Netrunner from board games. Very few people come into Magic the Gathering from board games. It's definitely different. Being local is really good because it creates the possibility of you being out of position. Oh, in Spirit Island? I liked how we had to choose between pivoting and sticking to our plan in Pandemic. Interesting decisions, good reactivity. Yeah, there's a lot of good in Pandemic. There's obviously some problems, and obviously Pandemic Legacy has been a huge success, but I wouldn't pick up to play Pandemic unless I'm getting someone to board games. And even then, don't think it's my first shot, but like, I'm happy to own a copy of Pandemic on my shelf because it is a very important game historically in terms of the genre, and it's cool. It's a cool gateway game. I feel like Daybreak is more of a simple engine builder. Not sure I'd play a bunch more, but it's fun how the cards work out. Yeah, it is. It has, so cards have tags, and then you can, when you play, so fundamentally how it works, I wish I could see an image of a card, but how it works is the cards have an ability, and then cards have tags, not dissimilar to like an Arc Nova. And then you only have 5 lanes in front of you, and you can either play your card behind all your other cards, and then it will have access to all the tags, or in front of. So this card says you can discard a card from your hand to draw 5 cards and keep 1. I believe this might be a solo only card. And then it has 2 tags, Innovation and whatever this one is. I don't know what the green one is called. And then the next card you play could cover this, even if you use the action on this. And then it would be like, it could say something. You notice how this card says you can use this each round once per innovation tag. So the next card you could put in front of it says like, oh, this requires having 2 green tags in the lane. And then every time you do this, gain 2 clear energy. So the idea is that like, it's a cool engine builder. It's very simple to understand, but like, I don't think you're incentivized to build engines. I think you're incentivized the way that things spiral out of control so quickly. It's just remove as much as you can now and then worry about next turn later. Climate change is relatively simple to solve. If we actually deploy resources and make sacrifices to solve it, it's more about picking a strategy and committing to it than trying to be clever. Yeah. We're getting to the ARCs game tomorrow. Hope it goes well. People have been enjoying ARCs. I think co-op games only work if they're very complex or there's significant hidden info you can't share with the group. Yeah, I agree. ARCs is so good. I bought SDS board game and then I felt I never needed a co-op game again, so I don't have a strong opinion on the genre. ARCs is out. ARCs has been out for a while. I said this on stream that ARCs was available in stores, and people said no, that's not the case, but it was. Because stores like 401 Games pre-ordered, they kickstarted a bunch of ARCs and then had copies on shelves at their store. They've now sold out. I think they don't have the base game, but they have the expansions, but they're technically in stores some places. Yeah, it's probably out of stock. The action system makes sense to board gamers, but not to card gamers where the cards are the only actions, yeah. It's one of the strengths they both have as board games. The problems are local, so you have to be in the right place at the right time. Hey, Izzy, how's it going? Mikhail got a copy in a store, I'm going to say a month ago. Yeah. Graphic design is incredible in Daybreak. Oh, it's so good. And it's why I got into it. It's like, it has that, you know, I forget the term for this, but you know, that sort of like corporate, colorful, simple art style that's like very positive. Like it's a game where terrible things happen. And even the cards that are crises that show horrible things like pandemics, forest fires, it turns out eco-terrorism is actually good for you half the time. Like when they blow up the pipeline and I lose my dirty energy, I'm like, that's fine. Funny. But the art is just so good. And then the art in the crisis is still really good, but not in a horrifyingly bleak way. Yeah, I don't know. I was like so stoked for this. And the more I played it, the more I'm like, I don't think fundamentally this is a quote unquote good game. I don't know. I'll play it some more, but I'm like kind of disappointed. Bummer. Pandemic Iberia with all the virus variants is a really interesting solo experience. I have like had no interest to check out any of the pandemic offshoots because it feels like Monopoly at this time. There's just like 17 different pandemics. But I imagine some of them are actually like probably better than Pandemic. I don't see why they wouldn't be. The corporate aesthetic gets drilled in my head at PowerPoint for my work and I barely started. Yeah, it's a very corporate thing. Hey, Cody. If you like theme and art, I can't recommend Luthier enough. 8 on hotness. It's not co-op though. It's a hidden bidding worker placement game. You building violins? 2025 though, but I want my game now. This does look Euro. This looks like, is this also, what's his face? Who's the good graphic designer who does board games? Because this looks like Rococo, and Rococo is also the guy who's good at it. Not that there's more than one. Ian O'Toole. Yeah, this looks like Ian O'Toole. This must be Ian O'Toole, right? I feel like Ian O'Toole is just like making such bank doing really good stuff out there. because everyone wants Ian O'Toole to do their graphic design. Is it Ian? Give me the credits. Ian. No, it's not. Oh, very good. Vincent Dutray is the artist. Very cool. Speaking of board games, who's coming to PAX U this year? Tickets just went on sale. It's in December, right? I don't think I know Vincent Dutray. What else has Vincent Dutray done? I don't know any of these games. I know of Tikal. The art project. Okay, yeah, this does look like a consistent theme. This means that my guess is Vincent Dutray also did Detective City of Los Angeles. That's my guess, because it looks like the same art style. Yeah, Atlantis Rising, the same art style. Come on, show me Detective. Room service, really? Whoa, this person's been doing work for a long time. You doing PAX U? Don't mind me listed as the copy editor. Oh, hashtag ad. Very good. Yeah, okay, nailed it. That's really good. I have my copy of Detective over there. That does look like the same artist. Vincent Dutray is quite good too then. There's a couple other games I must own by Vincent Dutray because I'm very familiar with that art style. Oh, Final Girl. At least some of them. Huh, cool. Yeah, it's a huge list. I didn't realize it's 8 pages. That's good. When is PAX U? Oh yeah, Heat. Shit. I'm playing Heat on BGA with Patrick right now, and I'm having a terrible time. I did understand the UI, and I've spun out doing a double corner, and I'm so upset there's 2 more races. I find Heat no fun asynchronous online. No fun whatsoever asynchronous online. When your Heat game takes you 3 days, and you make 1 bad play, or like 1 bad boost, and it costs you the whole race, like, no, I'm out. But Heat in person, where it takes 30 minutes and then you lose to Izzy at the last minute, 100%, I'll do it any day of the week. On that note too, we picked up Thunder Road Vendetta. So Thunder Road Vendetta, you probably heard of. Shop and Sit Down did a video about this. It's a restoration game. So they restored an old game from 1986, a Milton Bradley game. And my brother was visiting last weekend and he played this at my brother-in-law's. And then we were in Burlington and I was like, I'm thinking of picking this up. And he's like, pick it up. If you don't like it, I'll buy it off of you. So I'm like, okay, I have no reason not to pick it up. We played this every night in Burlington. Just like every night we had half an hour, 40 minutes. We play a game of Thunder Road Vendetta. It's so good. It's like super, super casual. If you're a person who takes things seriously and gets upset because it has player elimination, don't play this. But it is a game that encourages you to do the exciting thing, even if it's clearly the wrong thing. And I appreciate that because that is something that's hard to get out of me. To be like, oh, I've calculated the odds and it's probably better that I do this. No, I'm just going to drive my car into your car and see what happens. Like, so cool. Genuinely so impressed with this. As much as it's not like a crunchy board game, it also has a great table presence, but I've been so jazzed by this. Heat is an on-table experience for me, yeah, 100%. I just 3D printed a bunch of Thunder Road terrain. Oh, no way. That's sick. That's sick. Thunder Road's really, really fun. It has player elimination, but once someone's out, the game's like 10 more minutes, so it didn't feel bad. And then the game's still fun. But like ridiculous stuff happens, unfair stuff happens. You have to be kind of okay with that idea. All right. To its credit, somehow makes player elimination aggression way less frustrating than other games. Theming helps. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, theming helps a lot. Like, oh, your car fell in, like I drove into my brother's buggy. The buggy drove into a gas station. It exploded. We're both like high-fiving each other, be like, oh, actually, yeah, that was pretty cool. Even though he lost one of his 3 cars on like turn 2. Like, fine. Everyone wins. Yeah, it's great. It's really, really, really great. All right. I guess we're back to the P mill, huh? Heat is certainly not an async game. You need attention. Not only the tension, it's like that game is about memory. I can't walk away from the game and remember what cards I have in my bin. So then you have to open the notes app and be like, there's 2 4s in the bin. Stop boosting. Oh, I almost hit runner. I'm sorry, I only play games where I'll trade cubes with other players and I can't remember what they are. Expect for white cube, green cube. Damn, we're back to PE. Jai, come on. Do you have anything better? I'll do one more P. Try something entirely. Try something entirely different as a true shell game. You want to play the antithesis to P? Tempo Novum? Although you don't have to do this yourself, you can play not P. Like at this point, we played so much P, we might as well commit to the bit. So like the thumbnail makes sense. I'm just happy JNet servers are on, right? Like if JNet servers are like, if they demand that I play 2 hours of subpar shell game just to make the JNet servers work, I'll do it for everyone. You just described Sidereal. Sidereal was at CanNets. Nobody pulled it out. At the time you load against me, it's P. We're gonna get knifed, maybe. I don't know. This is not again. This is Daria. Daria's organizing a organized an NPC, but it's organizing the Northeast. I think it's just East Nationals. We keep going to Sidereal Confluence because it lives in my mind for all time. I want to play it. Kyle walked me through it. New Jersey Kyle at Mansion Runner. And like it looked sick. It looked really, really cool. I tried to make a BTL deck that was a double advanced ambush to confuse the runner. Everyone beat me. Yeah, running does. Yeah, you were telling me, and I get it. I appreciate it. You're not a real kid player if you're not jotting down kid out 2 GPT, 1 B plus 1 VP. Ron, did you copy paste a formula? Games with hidden trackable information annoy me, like the discard and heat. Ignore the rule explicit because you can just write it down. I hear you, and like I think Netrunner's actually been one of my big frustrations. Is any game that actually makes my memory matter, I have such a low tolerance to it because of games like Netrunner, where it's just like you can take notes. A game like Heat, where you're meant to remember every card in your discard pile, it's like within the realm of doability because your deck is like 15 cards and they're 3-ofs largely. This has checkist end of line. I'm gonna keep it, but like Netrunner has entirely frustrated me about any game that says like you can't look at your discard pile. I'm like, why? Give me a good reason. Holy hell, not a keep. Come on, we got this. I don't know why Heat doesn't let you look at your discard. To keep the game snappy, I think. I think it wants the game to be fast. I do think that for a casual enough game, there's some interest to make sure that the game. So if we get diversion to run server 1, to make the game look casual, like when your opponent and your new player looks through the discard pile and is making decisions on whether they should boost, it's like kind of antithetical to racing. Yeah, I don't know. Shut up and sit down. We're advertising the next CMYK game. Hermes. This is fine. Which is Wilmot's Warehouse. And I was so excited for Wilmot's Warehouse. And now that it's a memory game, I'm like, wait, what? Hermes is a big problem. Oh yeah, Nottingham plays Tag Me. That's fine. Wilmot's Warehouse is a memory game though? Yeah, but not like a face down tiles memory game. It's like an efficient. The thing is like Wilmot's Warehouse is a memory game, but it's a memory game meets an efficiency puzzle. And I appreciate that. Because you're like trying to make these rules on the fly of like how to interact with things. So they're pretty sure that Nottingham's going to check everything. I'm going to spin doctor this because they saw our overrider in hand. Please check server 1, not again. Daria, check server 1, float a tag. Just click for credit. Shit. We win if we top deck Blood in the Water. We can still win if we top deck Blood in the Water. Okay, not anymore. Oh, or Mindscaping, you're right. I forgot. This list, does this have a Mindscaping? I think it does. It might not. But just be cool. Tag doesn't matter. Maybe we all forget together. 1 Mindscaping, okay. Okay, I'll res. Wait, we're cooking. Ooh, that's a good hit. Campfire Snare. Ooh, no bounce. Fuck, I was like, install a card, we win. Never mind, it's classic. Okay. Credit hedge fund feels kind of cursed. Let's just see what happens. Ty's creepy art is my favorite art in SG. It's really good. It's a Domingo, right? Yeah. You can trash that if you want. I don't care about bringing back the Rashida. Just install like 3 cards. I think we do install NGO front advance for sure. Counter surveillance cleared the tag. Oh, feels bad. Actually, this is fine. The tag left. Threw out a counter surveillance. Do we mitosis the sting? Yeah, I don't think we care. He saw end of line, I thought. I don't think he did. Did he see end of line? Oh shit, he did. Okay. That changes the entire fabric of this game. It's an okay hand for mitosis. It's not my favorite hand for mitosis. Mitosis for NGO front is like kind of overrated. Like we have to res it now. Right? Like it's not that good. That's the third hopper suit, that second we've hit. So like in theory, we have to res the NGO front. Do we really need this money? Yeah, we need Threat Snare. It's a deck running Trick of Light. It has 1 Trick of Light. But like, that's the thing with traps is like, if Nottingham doesn't run these, we don't have to score them. We just have to keep advancing them. Because at some point, 2 triple advanced cards is like incredibly lethal. Trick of Light definitely is like 1 enabler, but like you don't need that for it to have teeth. All right, he knows we have that. I don't think he's ever going to run this. I think he's going to say Hermes will solve it. So we can score 1 I don't. I mean, I guess. I don't know why we queued up as P again. Cool. A lot of cards in it. Just check in. It's a sting. We lose our check. It's fine. We can put it back. Rogue trading. Nice. Money doesn't matter. Why? We'll start with the Spin Doctor and then we'll mitosis no matter what we draw. Well, actually, we can't mitosis. Can we mitosis those? Oh, you can. You can mitosis ice. Strength and bravado / S. This is not that bad. I hate this hand. Do you know what this deck should have, unironically, is Public Trail. I think if we had access to Public Trail, we'd be doing work. People would not respect Public Trail. Don't look at his credit pool, but like in general. Like Public Trail and the Lion, Blood in the Water, like how fun is that? See, the thing is like Not Again is not making content. Not Again is like playing as conservatively as possible. We want the opposite of that. Just clicking for credits. We need fireworks. He technically dies to this if he doesn't run it. There's a 1 of shitter in the deck. Holy shit. Jeff? You're saying the bad thing happened. Oh. Fuck. Oh, I hate that this is lethal. Oops, you didn't run a double advance card. You lose the game? Rip? I think that is that's so brutal. Dead, yeah. Good game, I guess. This is why double advance cards are scary. Oh, man. A single double advance card should not kill you. Hear me out. The least interesting Psy game of all time. F's in the chat. Yeah, I know. Things were not going our way until they did. Really rough. This is why I swapped all the diesels for steel skins in my crim decks. I'm not sure you're really worried about that. That I would do it. Like, there was a conversation maybe 2 years ago where there was criminal decks that were trying to figure out whether to play steel skin or diesel. And they were like, I'm playing steel skin because of safety. I do honestly think the 1 credit difference between steel skin and diesel really matters for like the PD matchup where you have to go fast. I mean, they spent a whole turn crediting. It's not a whole turn crediting. Like, there's no way to not die to that. You just have to call it. So, like, if he runs the Urtica, he takes 4 from Urtica. If he runs that, obviously, he, like, wins. But, like, very uniquely, there never was a card in the game that double events you just die to with a 2-card combo. Like, that has never existed. That feels really bad. Like, I do not feel like we deserve that. Oh, you didn't run one turn a double advanced card? Like, clicking for credits is actually correct to some extent. Hold up their side game stats? Yeah, you're right, actually. This is all new. Side games played, side games bid 0. Huh. There used to be breaking news, but funny enough, nobody played breaking news like that. See Scorch Scorch requires you to have more money than the runner and a 3-card combo. I don't think See Scorch Scorch was like healthy or good gameplay, but like that is different than this. Side game good? You're good, Dario, good game. Unique cards accessed. Yeah, this is entirely new. So what's new here? Clicks gained, credits gained. Okay. Credits spent. Let's look at the runner. Unique cards accessed 7. That's a very good metric because cards accessed 9, there was some overlap. I wonder if that's the overlap on centrals or like running archives. Daria didn't run archives. Breaking news boom happened a fair amount. I think breaking news boom happened way less than people thought. Like, it's so wild that we had such a cracked card breaking news. And then for the beginning, like the first 3-4 years of the game, nobody scored a breaking news and did anything with it. Like, I think 90% of people just like fast advanced it out. Heaven forbid you sometimes did like closed accounts when you scored it on top of a Sense and City Grid. But like, it's so wild that it was very uncommon to do anything cute with breaking news until we like played Railgun combo. Not that it makes it healthy, but there are technically a lot of cards that stop that combo. There's not. But like a lot is like 3. There's the Butcher Shop for quite some time. Yeah, but wasn't Butcher Shop like Railgun adjacent? Like Butcher Shop was a trap deck. Like, didn't Butcher Shop have Prisec? By the way, good game Jack made. When Traffic Accident came around, breaking news kill was pretty prevalent. Yeah, but that was like 4 years in, 5 years in, right? Let's look at this. Exchange of information target. Yeah, exchange of information. That didn't work. Why did that not work? Right? Like, once Traffic Accident came out, it was a bit more reasonable. But let's find a Butcher Shop deck. Okay, this is a Butcher Shop deck. I don't think this is the Butcher Shop deck. Butcher Shop was way earlier. I think first played around 2015. Yep, that's still 3 years into the game, right? So this game is on a 24/7 news cycle combo. So like, I don't honestly think it was breaking news into Scorched Earth Traffic Accident. I think this was actually like, you just set up a 24/7 news cycle combo. I don't think they installed advance of breaking news and left it. Because mind you, obviously Traffic Accident Scorched Earth is a 2-click combo. So you didn't do install advance. You just scored out 2 and then 24/7, right? I think Classic Butcher Shop was all in on the killing. So how could I find Butcher Shop? So what cards do we want to find? Let's just search 24/7. Sorry, not 24/7. Let's search breaking news and let's search Scorched Earth. And then do we search like, to make sure that we get an old list, should we search like pop-up window or like marked accounts or something? If you IAA a breaking news to force the run so you could power shutdown. Near Earth Hub, I think that's not going to lower it enough. You're still going to get like eternal sickos in this. Okay, 2015 March, 2016. So let's try and get the old ones. Yellow Shell, Timmy Wong. Timmy Wong deck could be anything. Bless Timmy Wong. Butcher Shop variant. Okay. So again, Jacko Draco, this is 2015. And still, this deck, yeah, marked accounts. This one didn't have Sansan, but like, I don't think that this deck was doing install advance breaking news that much. Like, this was a mid-seasons deck. Poto Boys was the classic glass shop list. Right? Like, I think it had that option to play. It's just, well, this is only on 2 breaking news anyways, right? But like, that's what I mean. It's just so wild that I think that this combo was so obvious, but nobody played like that. Okay. Cat wrote 3 Astroscript, 2 breaking news, 3 contract, 3 BL. Okay, so this is this list. And still 2 breaking news. Because, well, you didn't need to in mid-seasons. But you know what I mean? Like, it's wild how prevalent and obvious this combo would be modernly and how it's not really a thing. Can I post a link to NetRunnerDB? You can try. If I don't respond to it, it means that your post got eaten. That works. The Monster Goddess German Nationals. This is 2015. So this is even later. 3 breaking news, TGTBT, Singleton, Astroscript, Jackson, Sansan. Mid-seasons. Yeah, like I'm still not convinced that this deck did double advanced breaking news that often. This is your deck. There's a monster of a deck. It's fast but still reliable. Breaking news and Mother Goddess are the MVP of this deck. Didn't lose a single round in the top 32. Well, I can't. If you're telling me that you did it, I'm gonna listen to you that you did this in 2015. But like me playing back in 2015, I almost never had that be a problem. The first comment on the list. So many runners don't have an answer for breaking news behind Mogo. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's really funny. It was rare. It was surprisingly rare for how like straightforward that kill combo is. Wild. And then, yeah, once Data and Destiny came out, the big thing that you played alongside breaking news was exchange of information. Exchange of information is so cursed. Like, oh my God, it's so cursed. Because not only did you trade your breaking news for what was at a time a 3-pointer, you took away that global food initiative. Like back in the day, one of the worst things you could do, funny enough, against those decks was steal an early agenda because they would just swap it back in the mid game, right? It's a weird way to say wholesome. But the worst thing about exchange of information, which said trade 2 agendas, is that the text on breaking news, in which the tags got cleared at the end of the turn, that text was no longer active when you changed this with the runner. So not only did you just swap a 1-pointer for a 3-pointer, you also gave them 2 tags that they had to clear. Totally messed up, just so messed up. And I think it was only at that point that people started to consider the install advance. What's it called? EOI is a blessed card. GFI is cursed. I don't think, Frank, that EOI is healthy. Like, I think NSG's been doing a much better job at, like, it's good that tags close the game out, but I don't know. I don't like this. I had dedicated the world as your 3x Scorched Earth deck in 2014. Doesn't have a single breaking news. What were you doing back then? Yeah, but you're probably on 3 C source, right? How's it going, 0 hour? Exactly. It's so strange. It's so strange. Butcher Shop was still a thing after 24/7. I think we saw often more like Railgun and like Prisec Butcher Shop. Comparing this to Backroom Machinations, exactly. And I think NSG, like Backroom Machinations, maybe one day will be relevant. It's hard to imagine because we still have like pretty messed up tag punishment in the game. But like, for what it's worth, what is the 4-2 that gets easier to score out? Like, maybe that's a healthier place to be in. I don't know. Mentioning that people didn't leave it on the table, was there other things it could, like now with Charlotte NGO? No. Back in Netrunner, if you install Advanced, it was an agenda. Unless you're playing like a P deck like we are tonight, everything that you install Advanced is an agenda. That was actually a really big thing where 5/3s didn't see a lot of play. The first 5/3 that saw widespread play is the Future Perfect. And it only saw widespread play because the runner can't steal it 2 out of 3 times from central servers. This was the first 5/3 that saw any amount of consistent competitive play. And FFG heard that. And then we saw, even with NSG, I think far too many defensive 5/3 agendas. The people were very clear that the only agendas that they want to play 5/3 agendas are defensive agendas. And you might know the Metropole Grid. I really do not like 5/3 agendas. I think the decks that are running only 5/3 agendas are just mega cursed. And I don't think they're fun. And I don't think they make the games more interesting. Especially because a lot of those decks are not based off of scoring the agendas. They're just playing keep away, which means the game hinges more on recursion and stuff like that. But TFP was scored out sometimes, but you did play 2, sometimes 3 of these because, again, 2/3 of the time the runner cannot steal this from central servers. It doesn't work on the table. I think this is a very, very strong 5/3 agenda. Then the only other 5/3 agendas that saw play, Global Food Initiative, saw a lot of play. This is probably one of the strongest agendas ever printed. I have a whole video talking about it. This card is monstrous, just monstrous. And then there was some changes. Firstly, NGO Front did come out. And while NGO Front is nowhere near as common as it was, when NGO Front came out, it was everywhere. And then it was a lot easier to play 5/3s in every deck because most decks actually had an NGO Front. So you had this weird bluffing space where Install Advance wasn't necessarily an NGO Front. Because if I'm not mistaken, before NGO Front, Install Advance, unless it was a dedicated trap deck, was almost always a 5/3. So this actually opened up a lot of design space. The other big one is actually the card before it, which is equally powerful. This is SSL endorsement. This card you might not know of because it's currently banned. But this was another 5/3 agenda that unfortunately showed up in every single deck and got banned because it's ubiquity. Because it's exactly what you want on a 5/3. It's good that it's not a defensive agenda, but when this is scored or stolen, the corp just gets 9 credits over the next 3 turns. That is so good. And it's one of those cards, kind of like Off-World Office to some extent, but better in some ways, that you can just fit into any deck. You can just put 6 to 9 points of SSL in any deck, and oops, the runner stole it on turn 1. Sure, you're down 9 points, but you also got 9 credits on turn 1 functionally. Right? Like, it was just the biggest greasing. Like, it just greased the wheels. So no matter what happens, you're in an okay spot. Unfortunately, this card turned out to be better than most other agendas, and it also made a lot of corp decks that were just on like 3 SSLs and then whatever other 3/5/3s. But yeah, these kind of cards are cool because they're enablers of like jank, right? Like, we could build the corp decks that were all neutral cards back in the day, and it was thanks to stuff like this. Like, this was very, very fine. But it was just a bit too ubiquitous. Every deck was playing it, and also the game shifted a bit more to 5/3s. The fact that SSL and NGO front are actually 2 cards next to each other in the Katara cycle is buck wild. CDMs played this over food. Did they actually? I don't remember that hard, but maybe they did. And then you just exchange it anyways. It saves influence. I'd be surprised, but yeah, they probably did. If SSL was worth fewer credits would be interesting. It's a hard thing though, because like if SSL, how many fewer credits does SSL have to be worth before it doesn't become an auto include? I don't know. Because you have to watch out that you don't want the neutral agendas to be auto includes. Off-world office modernly is not an auto include. It almost is, but kind of not. Rohit, that's just off-world office. Yeah, I know. But when they steal it, you still get off-world office with SSL. You have to score it. Like 4-ish credits. You think you'd have a 5/3 that's the thing, is like if the 5/3 just says gain 4 credits, I'd rather play send a message. Abo or SSL was a legit decision in many Mati lists. Yeah, that's true. Make neutral IDs for corp runner who have the ability they can play banned cards as their text. I don't think you want that. Banned cards are banned because they're kind of banned. Remember Spags playing a kill CTM with triple SSL and Magnum Opus? There's probably evidence of that. Spags was playing at Magnum Opus. Spags was playing CTM with like music. No, what's it called? Lady Liberty, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 10th place. I don't think it had SSL in it. Oh, it did. Shit, 3 SSL. You're right. Check that out. Yeah, I found it. Yeah, we both found it, huh? I know that like Spags has been rocking like what's it called, Lady Liberty forever. SSL endorsement doesn't fire, right? No, but you win the game if you Lady Liberty it. Yeah, I remember watching Spags because I commentated some of these games. With Seamless, never advanced decks are so much more popular. Yeah, for sure. I'm often just not finding the room for NGO anymore. It's not only the room, it's slow. Like, I think I've seen so much subpar NGO front play. Right? Like, this is the problem with NGO front. The use case for NGO front to make sense is actually incredibly narrow. You have to do install, advance. Like, let's just talk about that. You spent 2 credits in your whole turn to gain 8. So you spent 3 clicks and 2 credits. You basically spent 3 clicks to gain 6 credits. That's not good. Like, if your turn is hedge fund credit, it's not good. And it feels so good because you can get out from 2 credits up to like 8. Like, that feels good. But install, advance NGO front is not a great economic play. And I think that needs to be recognized. That being said, there's ways to make it better. The most important way is if you can make the runner run it. Like, if you can do install, advance and the runner runs it and you just pop it, fine. They wasted a click. That's something. But you need them to run through ice. And the thing is, the majority of decks right now that are pushing things on a remote server and forcing runners to interact, they're not pre-advancing their cards. Like in PD, you don't install advance 95% of the time. So it just doesn't make any sense. Now, install advance is the best part of NGO front. So that actually is interesting. Install advance is 2 clicks for 4 credits in a run. Like, that's still not great, but only if the runner can run this. And I've seen so many players just do NGO front in a new remote server. And like, it's because the board state requires them to do that. But it's just not great. The game is way too fast for that to be good. Gonna put an NGO front inside some done PD. Yeah, I'll run it. In BTL, yeah, BTL is a bit better, but also like Glacier BTL. In regular BTL, the economy gets better because it's install advance to gain 10. Right now, it's your turn's a bit better. But specifically in that deck, like Sokka's Worlds deck, everything gets installed advance. So you can't tell if it's an NGO front, you can't tell if it's a buy a vault, you can't tell if it's a clearinghouse. So very rarely does it make sense. Charlotte kind of pushed out NGO. Yeah, and it's so much better. It's so much better in those sort of decks where you just want to keep drawing cards. Charlotte's great. Why get credits when the asset when I can get them from scoring off-world office? Exactly. Install advance puts you like it's off-world office. You score 2 points, gain 7 instead of gain 8. It costs you a bit more, but like you get a card back from PD. It's good. Meta's too fast for NGO. What's the point of making Ari run through the server in extra time when it only costs them 3 credits? Yeah, that's the thing too. It's like if it doesn't cost a lot to run the remote server, yeah, it's hard. This card was so good though. Like it was universally one of the only cards that everyone had access to that was an okay installed advance. That is like one of the biggest problems you always ran into in Netrunner, especially as a newer player. Okay, newer player, here's your core set. I'm going to put behind my Heimdall 1.0. I'm going to install advance and aggressive secretary. Okay, the runner doesn't run it. What do? And the answer is feel very bad. When you install advance that aggressive secretary and the runner doesn't run it, in the context of the core set, there's no reason to triple advance it and not score it out if it's an agenda. Like there's literally no reason to let it cook. Unless there's so much pressure on central servers where like you're losing to a medium or a count siphon or something. But like that feels bad. It generally felt so bad in newer Netrunner when you install advance and they don't run it. Now, very interesting for the Jinteki Shell game decks we've been playing today. One of the best things you can do if they don't run your trap is to continue to advance it. Because there's actually a lot of reasons why you want to 4 advanced like Ronin or Clearinghouse, let alone set up a 5/3 agenda so you can Neurospike. So yeah, NGO Front was very notable because it was one of the first cards that actually made sense. Funny enough, what was his name? Thomas Haas was the original. Nobody played this, but this is what the original NGO Front looked like, and the numbers are beyond cursed. The thing I like about Charlotte is the way I can make them want to res it after it's already paid you. To trash it? Is Seamless meta warping? 100%. Seamless is super meta warping. Seamless increases the speed of the game by like 2 or 3 turns. Seamless increases the risk of an unadvanced card to like 100%. By 100%, even more. Right, back in the day, if someone installed a card behind a thing and like never advanced a card behind an ice, like, oh, they spent their whole turn scoring out Project Vitruvius. Very notable, a blank Beal. It's very notable. Back in the day, we used to be happy scoring out a blank 3/2 with no text because it put you closer to 7. In the context of an HB deck, in the context of a fast advance deck, that makes a bit of sense. We also did have accelerated beta test, which was not a blank 3/2 with a really fun ability. Swingy, but fun, I guess. But yeah, you just score out blank 3/2s. But now that any card on the table can be a 4/2 is, yeah, it increases the speed of the game the same way Holloman just makes the game faster. As long as runners are keeping up, and it clearly seems to some extent they are, that's fine. The game is punchier. You spend less time doing basic actions. Like, I think overall that's fine. And the fact that the cards in the remote server matter more, like, yeah, that has an impact on the game for sure. No regrets. I think the biggest thing, and I've thought this before, I've heard this from other people too, Seamless launch should have cost 2. I think there's going to be a redesign here somewhere. I've heard this from a couple people. I think there's an agreement that Seamless launch is too cheap. And not too cheap because it's also like an econ card, which is kind of weird. I find right now in the game of Netrunner, it's really hard to get the corporation to credits where they can't score out. I find myself in situations like this happened at CanNats where I'm playing against Kyle. I'm like, if I do this and this and this, I can get him down to 1 credit. It's not enough. You can still do like credit Seamless advance, something like that, right? Like, I just wish that Seamless was a bit more expensive. And even if it was 2 credits, it's still an econ card. Because spending 1, like, that's the big thing about Seamless. It's secretly an econ card as well. Spending 1 credit for 2 advancements in a single click, that's about a 3 credit econ card. I just wish this was 1 more expensive. Because then actually money mattered. Like, to score out, you need 4 credits. You can keep PD and Luminal if you ditch Seamless. I think PD is like one of the best. I am like so impressed by Precision Design. It's a recursion card. I should hate that. Hand size, I don't care. But like the fact that it's 40 is probably the most egregious part about this. But like, this is a fun ID. Hand size is somewhat fun. Rewarding you for scoring is kind of satisfying. And this actually feels like a meaningful choice in certain decks. It's not just always bring Seamless back. I do think a lot of decks that's true, but I think the best players and the best decks make that an interesting choice. But yeah, I'm actually like, I like PD. I think PD is like kind of cool. It's a cracked ID. It definitely is, but like, I don't think it's egregious. It's like really cool to have a universal playable ability that's like kind of like engineering the future, but there's a bit more nuanced, I guess. Spend one influence and get to run merger. Seamless coming back to your hand after scoring an agenda is pretty wild. It is wild, but it keeps the game going, which is great. I was thinking the other day about actually how expensive advancing agendas is when you break it down, and that is a basic idea of the game. And we've had huge arguments about like off-world office and seamless launch. One of the core tenets of Netrunner that I find so attractive is the act of advancing your win condition as a corporation is usually tempo negative, right? Like imagine you're playing the core set and somebody spends 2 whole turns scoring out a priority requisition. Yeah, they get an ice. Sure, they get an ice. That's pretty good. Maybe this is a bad example, but imagine like scoring on a 5-3 agenda is really expensive. It's really slow, and that's cool. The corporation basically got halfway towards their win condition, but it cost them a lot. And those clicks and those credits give the runner more breathing room to set up to make an even match. And that is a core tenet of the game, if you ask me, is that like the act of winning actually pushes you behind. That's actually very different in a lot of other games like Magic the Gathering or somewhat Lorcana. I played Lorcana for the first time a week ago. But like the idea is that like generally in Magic the Gathering, if I destroy your monsters, your creatures, I'll still have my monsters and I'm constantly like my win condition is to put you out of the game, where this win condition pushes you back and, you know, gives the runner a way to kind of catch up. And there was actually real complaints back in the day that cards like Off-World Office violated that core tenet, where it's like you scored an agenda and you put yourself forward. And currently in 2024, I don't feel bad about it anymore. Like the game has just shifted enough where that's not a sticking point, but it used to be a sticking point for me. I wonder if this is really the root of the ice issue you mentioned earlier. If you slow corpse, you have the big ice without turbines since runners have more time to break them fairly. Yep. Netrunner's harder when the game is faster, less margin for error. Yes. Less margin of error. Also, unfortunately, maybe luck matters a bit more. But like I have lost full games because there's one turn I decided not to run the remote survey. Sometimes that's exciting, but the margin of error does go lower. And I think we saw that on Tuesday. I think we were playing like PD, a very good PD deck against like a newer player. I'm assuming a newer player. And the newer player isn't playing perfectly and just taking like 2 or 3 click unoptimalities against the PD deck, like you're 3 weeks behind. So that's a bummer. I think when I played Netrunner back in 2014, 2015, it was easier for unoptimal runner play to work just because the game was longer. Like you had more time to like touch cards on central servers. But like when PD is winning on turn 9, I'd argue 2 is still low for seamless. Core, yeah, it could be higher. At least 2. It could be higher. Like maybe it's an expensive card because it does so much. Like it does something unfair in the rules of the game, so maybe you should pay more for that. Paying 2 is still below market rate. One of these days I should play a fast events deck, get a taste of what winning feels like. Fast events decks aren't particularly good right now. But of course you can win the way that you're doing it. If a PD game is 28 clicks, each click really matters, yeah. Fully opt for 6+2 cards seems fine. I love recursion. Get rid of this cursed nonsense. I don't know. PD is classic Netrunner. Yeah, I do like PD. Conagard as an SG era player too. Oh, which one, Lazy? You can take PD away if you give me back ETF. Oh man, PD is so much more interesting than ETF though, isn't it? I dislike that it made Lat feel almost blank for a couple of years, and it still is today, but Lat is still doing relatively okay against PD. Play a memory diamond. I don't know. You're right, but like sometimes PD doesn't have 6 cards in hand. Matisse wholesome. I like when Matisse was like reasonable, it was fun. Like when you were playing a top tier deck against Matisse, I think it was a very interesting matchup. If you played a bad deck against Matisse, yeah, good luck. Big setbacks, me scoring a corporate war at 6 credits, the biggest setback. Corporate war says gain 7 unless you have fewer than 7, then you lose all your money. This is a reprint functionally from ONR. I think it was 6 credits in ONR. Who would have thought that taking the negative off corporate war would make it busto? Yeah, but it also doesn't have an RPG. Very funny art. ETF made clean core Netrunner very interesting. I don't think it did. I think in hindsight, I have a soft spot for clean core engineering the future play. But there were so many turns that are just molasses. In hindsight now, my brain being addled on like YouTube shorts and modern seamless launch, right? Like your turn often was install ice, credit. Next turn, install acid, credit. Like turn 1, you do install hedge fund, best case. But there were so many turns that your turn was again 60% what's called basic action. There are a lot of PD decks that outside of installing and playing operations, you're never doing the basic action card. You're never clicking for credits. You're often not clicking for card draw if things are running well. But install take two was just good enough value. And I think another thing that like surprises me is how slowly some decks scored at engineering in old Netrunner, not engineering the future. Right? Like replicating perfection. And this is mostly the culprit of Spin Doctor being the way that Spin Doctor was. Didn't score out its first agenda till like turn 14. Imagine that in Netrunner, not scoring out your first agenda until like there was 3 ice on R&D, 3 ice on HQ, 1 ice on archives, 3 in remote server. Sundew's been firing for the last 6 turns. Caprice is in remote server. It got trashed. I interns to back. Now I'm pushing my first Nisei. Like the game was just slower. And we had a really great stream where we tried to play at this sort of speed, where we just installed ice credit, and it honestly did better than I thought it would. But I think our opponents kind of tried to play a bit too fast and hard. How do we ever think Adonis was a good card? It was. It was just good enough. Nico sometimes is too slow. To be honest, these days it's probably not good enough value. The game's a lot faster, yeah. Yeah, no, engineering the future probably wouldn't be absurd. Like, I think AC Group looks better than engineering the future. It might be a bit taboo, but I think the game is better when the basic action card is reasonable to good. When it isn't, the gap between tier 1 and the bottom half of the decks can be huge. I think the basic action card needs to be an option that makes sense, but it shouldn't be the crux of the game. I think Arkham Horror is not that dissimilar to it. It's like in Arkham Horror, if you're taking the basic action to draw a card or click for a resource, you're in dire straits. It either means that you're so far ahead what you do doesn't matter, but your deck should be the game, not the basic actions. I think having the basic actions is great because if you have a bad hand, you can get a better hand. If you're short of credit, you can get a credit, right? Like that's really good. But I think Arkham Horror has, maybe this is not like the most universal point if you don't know Arkham Horror, but it's a game similar to Netrunner that has an action economy. You have 3 clicks a turn, and it's the same sort of thing. Where like if you're using the basic actions are good, they're there, and the game would be worse without them by a mile, but you're trying not to use them. Unless you're Timmy Wong. How do you anticipate the meta to respond to the upcoming cycling of FG and SC21? What do you think Don might include? Fedorowski, how's it going? It's a great question. Respond to the meta, there's 2 big things, right? One is the rotation of update, and one is the rotation of FFG. I think I have to think for a while to have like a really well put together take overall of what it's going to mean. I think it's really hard to understand what's in Dawn. If you ask me, I believe Dawn is going to be largely something like System Update, which will be a collection of cards that is relevant in kind of a core set way across all identities. And I'm imagining we're going to see reprints of cards that are determined to be pretty core to the game as a whole. I would be very surprised if there was not a card like Imp. I'd be very surprised if there was not a card like Clot, right? Like a lot of these cards probably should exist, right? A card like Legwork needs to be in game. A card like Force Activations or like Emergency Shutdown probably should be in the game. Maybe they don't have to be in the core set and they can come and go so that we're not a card like Sneak Beta. Like there's a lot of cards, Diesel, cards like this might need to be reprinted. And I think a big part of Dawn is going to be fundamental stuff. I don't think you're going to see anything really spiky or really weird because again, it's meant to go by system gateway, by system update. Now, I think some of the biggest cards rotated we've already talked about today. Like, how is the game different without Rashida? We saw this if you played the Sunset format earlier this year. I barely touched it. And largely from my experience playing without Rashida, the format wasn't fun, if you ask me. Like, Rashida is just buck wild. And she's, again, quintessentially the sort of card that cuts you down on using the basic action card. I don't want to spend, like, this gives you 2 half turns of the basic action economy your floundering deck is doing. So why not just get it all at once? And I think the game is going to depower down. Corp gameplay seems like it'll depower down a fair bit. I don't know whether there's a tag punishment. There's some really strong IDs that are going, but losing Rashida hits every single corporation kind of unilaterally. On terms of runner side, I wouldn't be quick to tell you what cards leaving from the rotation are going to like box runners down a peg anywhere near close to Rashida. Like, sure, criminals won't have diversion of funds, but like I would bet dollars to donuts that there'll be a diversion of funds, like an account siphon in Dawn. Like there'll be something like that because it's so core to like what criminals should be doing, pressuring HQ to some extent. Stronger card, shorter game equals a higher variance. Hopefully find a balance. I don't know, Thanos, if it's really high variance now, but no, if Rashida feels like I get Bologna back, I don't think you get Bologna back. I don't think so at all. I hope it follows the trend of cards like Raindrops that rework a classic in a faction themed way. Yeah, and like NSG has had, I would actually say much more for better than for worse. They've had this like very predictable design kind of strategy, and you see it all across Borealis. You see it in Liberation too, where like whenever they build an ID and they build cards around it, and this is actually really interesting for Dawn, is like when we look at Borealis, when we looked at like the Liberation cycle, it was like, here's Sable and here's a bunch of Sable cards. Here's Sebastio and here's a bunch of Sebastio cards. And I don't think Dawn's going to be like that. Like, I'm not expecting Dawn to be like, here's one runner. I imagine we're gonna have multiple. Maybe we won't. Will we? Maybe I'm taking that for granted, but it feels really weird that like 4 runner IDs are gonna per faction gonna rotate. And we only get 1 back. Maybe we're only gonna get 1 ID. I don't know. Raindrops is not really a remix of an old card. Raindrops is just like a remix of Bravado. It's just like everyone got a Bravado. So like the Shaper Bravado, the Anarch Bravados, Raindrops, Shaper Bravados, Into the Depths doesn't see a lot of play, and Criminal Bravados of that name. But like, I don't know what I'm getting at here. What my point was, I kind of lost the plot, but I was trying to show here is that like, just about always, even on the corp side, the way that NSG designs something is they design, like, you know, here's op. Okay, we're gonna give a 3 credit econ card with upside if you're using the identity text. So we got extract. Extract is a 3 credit card, but it's a better card. Not only do you get 6 credits, but it fires op consistently. Extract is cracked. Such a good card. And you see this consistently, like, oh, this is Strike Fund. Strike Fund is a 3 credit econ card, but it's cracked if you build around it to some extent. ESSA didn't exactly have that because Ghost Tongue works slightly different. You could argue you have that with whatever the econ card was in the slot. But Criminal, here's Carpe Diem. It's a 3 credit econ card, but it's good when you play clicklessly by running your mark on top of other runner synergy. So there's always like these sort of patterns that you see, and I imagine we'll see something like that. Admittedly, if you're just printing 3 credit econ cards with upside, it does get a bit boring, but reprint Patchwork, please and thank you. There's a bunch of cards that I think should be reprinted. Patchwork is kind of one of them because it's too cool. How many IDs are in the core set? 7, 1 for each basic faction, and then there's 2 for learning the game that are not tournament legal. The neutral ones, Syndicate and whatever the runner's called. That rules nightmare should never see the light of the day again. I love that the ruling on Patchwork is whatever's the coolest thing, just do it. I don't care. It's cool, just do it. Rigging up, 3 credit econ card with upside. Into the Depth, 3 credit econ card with upside, right? Like that happens more often than not. But I don't think Dawn's going to be like that, because I don't think Dawn has to be like, that's a big thing is like when you buy this, you need cards that work with Sable for the product to make any sense. And Dawn's going to be a bit different. Have you catch another live chat? Greetings from Dalford Grid. Yo, Jimmy, how's it going? I'm disappointed Ob didn't get cards exported in Excel. I think we were all surprised by that. And NSG actually had to like address it. I think NSG addressed it in an article that was like the obvious thing to do. Losing Diesel's going to be interesting. Seamless launch 3 credit econ card with upside. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. In terms of like, let's just look at it really quickly. I don't know, how late is it? 11:52. Okay, we only have a bit longer. But like what rotates here on the runner side that really matters? There's gonna be like darling cards, but like in terms of what rotates here, Patchwork leaving matters. None of this matters. Bankroll matters. It's a very cool card. Criminal needs something more like this. Miss Bones is probably one of the most important runner cards. I think we're all just hoping that at some point assets come down in trash costs. We're having a plus 10 credit econ card. It doesn't seem like the thing you need to do, and currently does. Paragon doesn't need to exist. We have Penny Shaver. Cubon and Ika, like Trojans actually really matter for Arasana. Unfortunately, not the Arasana that's really popular right now, but making sure there's enough Trojans means Arasana will have interesting builds, and so it's nice to keep that environmental healthy. DJ Fenris, bless it. I think cards like this are kind of interesting. It's cool that besides Steve, I don't feel like DJ Fenris is a one of that I'm upset with, right? Like one of per decks, they can be pretty volatile. I think we've seen much more egregious ones in the history of the game, but DJ Fenris producing Steve, that's annoying because recursion is annoying. But like DJ into Quetzal, F it. Cool. I wish it was more cool. I wish Steve was more cool, but Steve is leaving too. No, Steve is not leaving. Excuse me. Oh no, Steve is leaving. Steve is system update. Sports Metal, bummer that this is going, just because this is such a fun ID. I know Reality Plus has this text on it, but F it. This is just fun text. I like decision-based text. Reality Plus is cursed. Gatekeeper is one of the best ice ever designed. This feels like this is so frustrating because it's one of the FFG's last sets. This was FFG's last set, excuse me. But like this is one of the coolest ice designs of all time, period. And NSG has been replicating this in a lot of ways, some more successful than others. But I honestly don't think NSG has presented an, okay, wait, this doesn't seem like a fair comparison. I'm just trying to say Gatekeeper in terms of modal type ice that has very clear strengths and very clear downsides. Gatekeeper is incredible. It is incredible how cool this card is. Is it above curve? Not really. It's above curve on the turn you hit it. Try and hit it. I try and find the Gatekeepers. I don't know. A lot of players don't charge the HB remote turn 1. What are you doing? Just run it. Force them to res it. Oh, Gatekeeper's so good. Such a cool design. And like, it's just so It's in the wheelhouse of what NSG wants. They don't want snap res ice. You could argue that Gatekeeper is snap res because it's good, but like a lot of times resing Gatekeeper at certain board states is way more important than resing it now. Gatekeeper, fucking 10 out of 10. Man, this card's so cool. I jammed into op since its trash one's done. Yeah, it's a really good op card. CTZ was playing a lot in op. I think it's sick. Anyways, card's really, really good. None of this matters. All the Jideki cards suck. None of this matters. Hydra shouldn't exist. It's a bummer that bad publicity has no home anymore, considering that there's pretty good bad publicity cards in the NSG card pool. It definitely needs a home like this. And this is a really fun text box for as simple as it is. Too big to fail obviously matters as well. But this doesn't have a huge impact. Arella for the Joyers, but Fly on the Wall is sometimes a card. I don't know. Doesn't feel like a fun card though. Like losing the Fly on the Wall feels surprisingly bad. Oh, Thimblerig. Yeah, Thimblerig is a cool card. I miss Thimblerig. Thimblerig is really cool. All right, let's do Katara real quick. Iqua leaving actually is a problem for HB in general. I think this has turned out to be a really healthy mix of what a defensive. I think Iqua is a really good defensive 5/3. It has tech. It has text that is like you can afford to respect that on most turns. On the final turn where the Iqua is in the remote server, that can get a bit dicey, that's for sure, but the remote server is probably pretty hard at that point to deal with. But like Iqua is genuinely a really cool mixture between being a 5/3 but not feeling unfair. Even if you play 3 Iquas, it doesn't feel incredibly unfair. Molly is a rules nightmare. Asa group leaving is a bummer. I like NSG's in a hard spot because they haven't printed efficiency HB in such a long time. And without Asa in the play space, there's more they can do because Asa does limit like the powerful assets you can print on tempo stuff. But I am a sucker like a lot for value-based Asa and value-based HB. And we just seen the exact opposite that from NSG for the last 2 cycles. And maybe when Asa group leaves, something like that will come back. That'll be sick. Back Pro should go. That card is hella cursed. But HB has Vacheron to replace it. Nancy leaving it's fine. I do not think Cloud Eater is going to take a Nancy spot. I don't know. It matters that it goes for sure. A Bioball going, I think, is healthy. I don't think it's great. Mwanza, my God, it should go. Degree Mill should get banned tomorrow, if you ask me. Amani should get banned. Echo Chambers should be banned, just so people actually have to play real agendas. Asmari should be banned because it's boring. This is Andre's ban list. Cali Testing is a cool card op. None of this matters. None of this matters. NGO and Rashida are probably the most impactful, and it's hard to talk about that. Andre's ban list, ban yellow. Hey, I think we were talking about some. Yeah, it was mostly ban yellow. Freedom seems to have kind of fallen apart. Knobcree leaving is a bummer, but now there's more design space once Freedom leaves to like re-explore viruses. Because outside of, if I'm not mistaken, the Nihilist and Augustina Vanoskaya, there's not really a lot going on in the virus pool besides like Imp Recursion Lu. It's just it's a design space that I don't think NSG has pursued incredibly heavily, like the sort of heavy virus synergy decks. We've seen parts and pieces, cookbook, but virus being the majority of what your game does. Yeah, Freedom is a cool idea. I do like IDs that like take resources and value them differently. I know I said that when Freedom comes out, but I really, really like that sort of design space. Or like, yeah, virus counters actually matter. I'll be bummed to see Asa leave. Yeah, you and me both, friendo. No particular reason. Yeah, Freedom's cool. A lot of these programs are not very good. Credit kiting, tag me. I think there's so much design space that will make Seb not stink. We can get to that. 419, bid him farewell. Diversions, leaving. I'll be so surprised if it's not a diversion. None of this matters. None of this matters. None of this matters. Compile's a cool card, I guess. She already got banned. Lamb leaving actually does matter. It makes Essa a fair bit worse. We haven't seen him go in a long time. I like cards like Gabaling Kangamato, and mostly because it's a Geist player, but sometimes having these weird alternate engines that are worth pursuing. Currently, we haven't seen a lot of decks like that. I think that is a weakness maybe in NSG design, barring the Lu virus deck, which like turned out not to be great for the game, but like I do like decks like Audrey type stuff that interact in the board in a slightly different way. RNG Keys, the coolest card ever printed. Nobody plays it. No surprise. None of this really matters. Boomerang? Yeah, but Boomerang, like you can't build your deck around Boomerang. I tried. Hey, I played as a Candads. You know I'm trying. But yeah, Boomerang. Banhar. MCA leaving is good for the game. I don't think Loki leaving is really good for the game. Restore leaving is good for the game. Warrior leaving is good for the game. Obakata is banned. The Jideki cards here are not worth anything. Banned. Egg Infusion leaving? Yeah, that's fine. Banned. Oh, I tried to ban Degree Mill. I wanted to ban Re-Education. Degree Mill can stay. Re-Education can go. Sorry, I banned the wrong card. Air Enhanced Security banned. I'm just banning yellow cards. You know how it is. None of this matters. None of this matters. Data Loop actually matters as much as you can't really play that. None of this matters. Oh my god. That is 5 really bad NBN cards in a row. Not that the Wayland cards are getting better. That's 5 not great Wayland cards in a row. Standoff is playable. Oh god, I forgot how bad the Red Sand cycle was. It's a bummer Jemison's going. Audacity is one of the biggest. That's actually a huge impact for Wayland. Wayland has to figure out how to score the game out. Maybe play more slash and burns. They can recover, but losing Audacity is universally not good for the faction as a whole. None of this matters. Losing Neutral Ice is a bummer because NSG doesn't print a lot of Neutral Ice. We might see Neutral Ice and Dawn. I'd be surprised if we don't. Signal jamming still in the format? Hey, World Tree. I'm going to be annoying for 1 turn. Maw is a sick card. It is a bit rules cursed, unfortunately. But this is a really cool card. I like these, like, the fact that 6 feels like a fair price for this effect is kind of exactly where you want to be. I like having more MU. I think Criminal, if Criminal gets 1 playable MU card, we're kind of off to the races and the whole faction can open up. I think. Maybe not competitively, but at least fun. But Maw is exactly where you want a 6 cost console to be. Alice is a fun idea. Jamison didn't have enough time in the sun? No. The Tag Me archetype just dissolves entirely with rotation of FFG. We lose Morbius. Amakua, it's a bummer of a loss. Aeneas is not healthy. That's good to go. But like, you see this? There's not that much that I'm actually like super, super bummed about. Obviously, I'm looking the Red Sand cycle last. Like, oh my god, these are cards. Unversificator is definitely playable. I like Maven. I think Maven is a cool build around card. I think NSG maybe it has too few of these like wacky build around cards. I don't think Begema counts because it's just like a faction card. Mad Dash is an important card to lose, and that's a list. Hey Chief, it's been a while. What are we up to? Scratch. We're just closing a stream out right now. It's 12:02, so we've been streaming for a while today, so we got a bit late. But the big question came up that next year, early next year, the standard format is going to be entirely null signal games. So we're losing 2 entire cycles of FFG cards and a deluxe set, and all of the reprint FFG cards that NSG puts out in system update are going to go. So the question is, how does it matter? But like looking at that, structurally, the things that are really going to matter are things like Rashida by a mile. Blue Moose, yeah, it's a bit banned. I'm surprised to see you up so late. Me too. Magnum Opus as well? Oh yeah, shit, Magnum Opus. Magnum Opus is actually a really important set. And I swear to God, hold on. If there's not a border control reprint, I'm going to be so upset. Come on, make it cost 4. Make it cost 4 and then they can trash it to end the run. It would be so cool. Labor rates going would be fantastic. Slot machines banned, but border control is very, 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 very cool. I really appreciate your very thoughtful answer. I really appreciate questions like that. They're very fun. Oh, Snare leaving. Yeah. Snare actually leaving is kind of impactful. Whatever Snare 2 is going to be great. MICs are BC reprint though. Joe, take that back. You don't mean that. Are we losing border control? Yeah. I believe we are. I'm like 80% sure we are. Maybe that's enough to say. How's it going, by the way? 516. More I get my Psychic Field. Yo, Psychic Field. Like, okay, I like Psy games, but I don't like when the Psy game destroys my whole hand. Like, we're laughing at See How They Run has an unimpactful Psy game. Imagine a more impactful Psy game than lose 5 damn cards. Oops, I have 6 cards in hand, 7 cards in hand. I'm going to check the remote server. Oops, lose 7 cards. Like, come on now. And I think it's cool that there's like a thing that hurts you when you have more cards in hand than less cards in hand. Maybe that makes the game more interesting. The art on it's pretty cool. But like, I don't know. Not for me. Can we get crowdfunding back before it rotates, please? Cube. Enjoy your cube. Man, Psychic Field. What a card. I totally forgot about this one. All right, it's technically Friday. We're gonna close the stream down. I want to say a huge thank you, mind you. Metropole Grid is supported on Patreon. Like all these names here and more. We have also a whole bunch of daily cast patrons. Oh, I fixed, there was an error. There was a flicker at the top. We re-rendered just some new names in here. So good that that gets out. Crim needs a boost. Crim needs such a boost. Will identities also be rotating? 100%. All the FFG identities will be rotating and the system update identities will be rotating. And that's a fair bit. System update has like 2 identities per faction. Kevin, hey, thanks so much for the 10 Australia. How big do you think Dom will be? My guess will be system update size, which is like 80 plus cards, somewhere around that. It's a super chat. Yeah, thank you. Yay, good morning, Axie. We made it to the morning. Like 6 in the morning, Axie's off to his first monster. Hopefully you're doing well. A huge shout out again to these names here in the data cast. They help us do the thing that we want to do. We were recording this afternoon. The lag was bad. We'll be back recording tomorrow. If we get some recording in, maybe we'll get a video out on Monday. That'd be nice to get Captain Pudma on the way to keep rolling all down the alphabet series. It's been a bit of a tricky thing. We've been doing some stuff. Again, we're running Montreal and NPC. You probably know about that by now, but I'm still going to plug it. Oh, you want to see something real quick? We have a couple more birds. The tickets should be up really soon. I'll let you know as soon as they are, but Silver Goblin has all the information, so the tickets will be up. Oh, the lights changed, got late. But we have a couple more birds. Maddie has crocheted. Little green shaper bird came in. Which one else is new? This like greenish aqua yellow one, very cute, looks kind of more blue on camera. And I think I've showed these off before, but I'm so entirely stoked by Phaserum Entangler tokens. This one's regular and this is rainbow. All the best for an NBC. Thank you. It's still a month away, so we have a fair bit of work. We're still trying to figure out prize support and stuff. We've been a bit underwater there, but they're so cute. They're really, really quite cute. A branded new age of Netrunner. Yeah, it's a really, really big deal, Scratch. I want to be very clear. People have probably already heard this. Next year, Null Signal Games is really like throwing out all the stops when it comes to organized play. So next year, there is a ton of organized play. There's like the regional levels, nationals. There's going to be more online and in-person play. And next year will be the first time that's all NSG only. So if you want to play Netrunner, there is no excuses. The card pool is the smallest ever been, largely. Last 10 years, give or take. And it's all available on their website, let alone you can always proxy, print and play all you want. So for folks getting into the game, it's no longer FFG. Oh, I have to go get old cards. Yeah, it's really, really easy. It's such a big deal next year. It really, really is. Kind of totally missed out on the last set or two. Mercury coming out was where I stopped. Very excited to get back in. Yeah, welcome back in. Worlds, mind you, is coming up in a bit. Liberation Cycle is it's the last set that just came out. What's it called? Rebellion Without Rehearsal was really, really big if you're a Shaper player. Hasn't done too much for others, but there's still some fun stuff in there. Why mitosis is cerebral when you can mitosis a psychic field? That's the spirit. Everyone in the Netrunner community is the lady from Shit Gamble. I don't know what you mean, Kira, but I appreciate that. Oh, because of the names, yeah, technically. Well, there's some degree mills in there. Have a good night. Anyways, thanks so much for hanging out. We'll be back on at least Tuesday. Maybe there'll be a video sooner. That'd be pretty hype. I think some of the weekend got freed up, but enjoy your tournaments on Saturday. If you're playing at NPC, sorry, if you're playing at, one more time, if you're playing at, I keep getting the name wrong, East Coast America Continentals, best of luck. I'm rooting for you. Unless 2 of you sit down at the same table, I would root for one randomly. I'll roll a die. Good night.